Welcome back to the Top 6 show, and we start off with some terrible news. Finding Chelsea fans today has been a myth. They're in the group chats, they're out here, they say they're active, but when push comes to shove, they don't show up. They don't show up. I'm so disappointed in the Football Terrace Chelsea.
Sounds like Cole Palmer.
Yeah, they've done a bit of a Palmer today. They haven't shown up. We will be talking Chelsea on the show today, talking Man United, both teams, awful results again. We're looking back at Arsenal's big win with their new number 9 sensation. That's sarcasm. If you don't understand that, please stop watching YouTube. Go out and get a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a friend, some life, please. Liverpool respond with a dodgy win. Oi, dodgy there, Tom. We are talking about that push in the box as well today. Also that is a bit of a joke. So anyone who's triggered by that, again, stop watching. I love that you're watching, but please stop watching. Find a friend. Go out, touch some grass, consensually touch a boob. Do something do something, okay, that will make you understand that's a joke. And we're discussing our Sissy back after a brilliant win for them yesterday. And that's a genuine question. That's a real genuine question that we're going to be posing to the panel today. But let's start with Man United, because it was we'll obviously get onto the game in itself, but it was a poor performance from United yesterday. Had ample chances to score against Tottenham. Everybody scores against Tottenham, but Man United couldn't. There's a lot of calls today for the manager's head, whether it be now or in the summer. I think I heard Rants today say that if he give him till the end of the season, but if there's no trophy and we're in this similar position in the league, he's got to go. There's a lot of media outlets saying now that this is on him and it's unacceptable. There are United fans everywhere, slowly but surely turning on him. Is that the right approach for Man United, do you think, Tom? Should the accountability for where we are be put upon Amorim's head, as it was Ten Hag's, as it was Ollie's, as it was Jose's, as it was LVG's? Is that the right approach by certain Manchester United fans?
No, because the whole reason, the whole time all those other managers were there, you were asking for something different. You wanted a manager with a clear style of play, a manager who is going to implement his system and his structure and this, that, and the other. And then you get it. It takes some time, especially with the squad that isn't good enough. And the moment there's a bit of adversity, the moment before he's even had a chance to really sink his teeth into the squad, it's get him out, start over again. And that makes no sense. Manchester United have to embrace the fact that they're a project. They have to embrace the fact that it is a full-scale, from top to bottom, rebuild that is going to take a number of years now. A number of years. And I think the issue was you didn't bring him in the summer. If you wanted them in the summer, you will have brought him in the summer, but you kept Ten Hag on, so wasted 200 million on a group of players that don't necessarily all fit the system, don't fit the style. Some simply aren't good enough. So they're now on the chopping block potentially. This new manager's come in, playing a new system, hasn't had any of his signs yet. He's trying to make it work. It takes time. It takes years to get to the point. Projects don't just... Arsenal didn't just become good. Arsenal wasn't just a case of, we're crap, now we're good. It took years of building, and the bad times with the good times. That's what United need to understand that is going to happen right now. This is not a case of short term. We bring in 2 players, we're back. Man United are back. I think this season realistically has been the eye opener for the quality of the squad. I don't know why it's taken up to this point for it to be, but this season is the real eye opener, because that Manchester United squad in this system stinks. It's horrendously bad. So many players are just not up to the standard in key positions. And United now, they'll finish mid-table. I think the lowest their top 6 team has ever finished is 12th, and that was Chelsea a couple of years ago. United will give that a hell of a run for its money in terms of finishing lower than that. But that's part and parcel of being in the stage where you're at. of making mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake in all aspects of being a football club. Eventually, you pay the price, and then it's about rebuilding from that point. There are some positives in the United team. There are some things to cling on to. There are some things to build around. But there is no point in having these things to build around if every single time there's adversity, we change the guy who's building. We change the entire building team, and they come in with new ideas, and they want to change the living room. They want to change the kitchen. No, you need to stick with one guy. At least at this point, you need to stick with one guy to make sure that the foundations are better. Because right now, don't get me wrong, the whole house is rotten, but you can't even build off the foundations that you've got. There's nothing there. There's two good young players, realistically, and that's it. And we don't know if you're going to be allowed to keep one of them because of PSR, because of the mistakes that the club has been making in the transfer market. The fact that the players you've let go in January have gone away to other clubs and have hit the ground running and performed. It just goes to show the state that Manchester United's in. Are fans entitled to feel angry about the results that you're getting? Yes, you're 15th. That's really not a good spot to be in. But do I think that means the manager should get sacked? No, because then where do you go? Who do we appoint next? Because you've tried every manager under the sun, every type of manager under the sun, and none of them have got to where United want to be. So what's left? At some point, you're just going to have to bite the bullet and stick it out. And I think if you don't do it now, I don't know when you're going to do it. I don't know when. I don't know who's going to be that manager to do it under, because you're simply running out of options.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Tom. But on the other side as well, Amorim has come into a disaster. Yeah, Man U is like rooted. The core is ugly right now, 100%. But he's made a lot of mistakes himself. He came in and decided to do like a mini pre-season into the start of his career in the middle of the season. That was a bit weird, but he wanted to test out players. No drama, whatever. But it got to the point where quite early on we realized a lot of these players weren't as good as a lot of Man U fans. I think a lot of rival fans have talked about how bad these players are, but a lot of Man U fans told us otherwise, and they started to realize, actually, do you know what? These guys are rubbish. There's no jokes here. At that point, what I would have done as Amorim, I would start spreading in some of the academy a lot more, because at the end of the day, like a lot of these players, we're not going to change some of their habits there. Maybe I'll start afresh with some younger guys with a little less pressure, build the foundation from there. Players that can actually fit into my system, can take direction from a young age. I think that would have been the better goal.
Has he not tried to do that though? Given Amad Diallo a more prevalent role,
I don't think he's done it enough.
But if we're being entirely honest, like, he wouldn't win either way, because he'd play all the youngsters, they'd lose games, and then people would go, "Why aren't you playing the senior players? Why aren't you playing the big money transfers?"
Are rubbish though. Like why would they still be asking that question?
Because this is the cycle that we're in now. This is the entire cycle that Manchester United are in. If he plays the kids, he's wrong for that. If he plays the senior players, he's wrong for that. If he changes system, why does he change system? If he sticks by the system, he should change the system. He cannot win at this point in time. He is just going to lose any way it goes. He might as well just stick by. I understand why he's playing the senior players. Most of them are going to go, but he needs to make sure that they are in the shop window. I understand why he's sticking by the system, because the last manager lost his job. I understand they're 15th, and it's not great. It's actually quite bad. But do we think if he plays Chido Obi Martin, they're going to suddenly shoot up the table? No. Do we think if he plays...
Man, Arsenal are relying on Haaland to bail them out, so maybe Man
No, but you're not relying on Haaland to bail you out, because you've got William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes and Declan Rice.
Odegaard.
Manchester United yesterday. Okay. Manchester. You can play Miles Lewis-Skelly alongside William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Jurrien Timber. Manchester United, if they wanted to put in Aiden Heaven and putting them alongside Harry Maguire, Matthias de Ligt, Patrick Dorgu, and Diogo Dalot, it's nowhere near the same.
But
United cannot protect these young players.
I hear you, but do you think it's going to be any worse than what's going on now?
Can I just say on that very quickly?
I don't think he should get sacked.
Can I just address the youth bit? I was going to wait till the end. You all spoke, but I want to address the youth thing. So I was in your camp yesterday. I felt that some of those kids should have been given an opportunity. 10, 15 minutes. They're unknown. They're unpredictable. Most of the Spurs players have not heard of them, let alone watched them play. There's no studied footage. You can go on and create a problem. So I haven't fully changed my stance on that. But I was listening to Andy Minton speak earlier today that is an expert on Man United. Has watched every academy game and every under 18, every sort of reserve team game for about 30 years, right? So I will bow down to his knowledge. And he said on an interview he did today, he went, the facts are those players are only on the bench because of injuries. They're not ready for first team football. So he said that there's this idea of just give them a go, it can't be worse. And he said it can for them. So he said it could ruin them because they're not ready for men's football as of yet. So I hear that side of the argument as well. But that's where I'm in the middle on this. I'm not polar. I've seen some United fans go, he's a coward and I would sack him for it now. Where there are others that understand and know more about our youth that are saying they were only there in case of an injury and then they'd have to come on and they might get opportunities in the next few weeks because need must, but the club know they're not ready. And
Terry,
I see it from both sides.
Is he saying that those particular players, or in general, the academy right now at Man United is just not at the standard in general, or he's
talking about the under 18s. I mean, there's a few that he's talking about the players that are on the bench that there's an idea they're not ready, and some are not far away, but the club want to protect them. And this is like a lot of the conversations that are being said. We're talking about Amorim hasn't improved anything. The club isn't moving in the right direction. In what time frame are we looking here? In what time frame? Does everything have to be fixed now for it to be considered movement? Do you not sometimes go backwards before you go forward? Like, I just want to throw these questions out. Like, I want to throw the two Spurs fans. Obviously, you beat us yesterday. You were the better side on the day. But there's a lot of talk about United sacking Amorim. Three at the back isn't going to work. He's a bad coach. I saw the boys on DR Sports last night saying, I think it was Culture Cam said they think he might be a bust. Do you think, Kate, Man United have hired a bust in Ruben Amorim?
No. Sorry about my dog. Someone's just put, I agree with the dog. He's putting his 2 pence worth in. I said it last night.
That's also I think that's my dog in the back garden, actually. Might be my dog.
Oh, okay.
It's my dog. Yeah.
I don't think they should be getting rid of this guy. I think it's crazy, if you want to know the truth, to even talk about it. I'm listening to it and I can hear what happened with Tottenham just a few months ago. I mean, Henry will remember we had players on the bench that I'd really never heard of. And people were screaming, why aren't they getting on the pitch? They can't do any worse. But Andrew was making it clear they're not ready. The step up from academy to Premier League football is huge. If they play those players and they have a terrible game or whatever, it can literally destroy them. Their confidence will be shot to pieces. I just think this guy needs to get at least a couple of windows to get in the players that he wants. There's no superstars at Man United, and the decent players he's got have just gone down injured. You know, I just think this guy needs a bit of a break. I think a couple of windows, let him bring him who he wants to bring. Sacking him for me, is ludicrous. It's just madness.
Yeah, Kate, I don't think United are in a situation where they can even consider sacking him, regardless of what's going on now. They put themselves in a position where they probably shouldn't have hired him, and at the moment they hired him, but they did. So they kind of have to stick with it. It's at a point where you have to stick with someone now. Get behind him. Give him a window. Look, I don't think Man United are going to get relegated. All jokes aside, I'd love to see it, obviously, but they're not going to get relegated. So that's why I'm saying that I would take a bit more risk with some of these youth players. But if Terry's saying that a lot of them aren't ready for first team football, then I hear it. But I don't know, man. He needs to try something different because they didn't help him out in January.
Arsenal are lucky. They've got some very good youngsters like Waneri and Lewis Skelly. But some of the youngsters,
it's not just Arsenal that have got good youngsters. A lot of teams in the Premier League have good youngsters.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some good youngsters, but at the same time, like I say, we've had to fill our bench up with kids that were never intended to ever get on the pitch, just in case.
Some of them have done well. Some of them have done well, though, right?
The thing is, though, the United youngsters that you'd compare to your Lewis Skelly's and your Waneris, they're also injured at the minute. They're also, you know, Mainu's injured and Colley's injured. They're the academy kids that have been coming through this season and making, or the last couple of seasons, and making their mark. And the yellow step up, they're all injured at the same time. So you're not down to your academy kids. You're down to your academy kids more so. United, I don't think United should be looking at it going, Chido Obi Martin hasn't even played an under-18 game yet. Start him. Give him 30 minutes. He'll change the game for us because it's not good for the development. He needs to be playing under 21. He needs to be playing football closer to his age group. That's the issue United have at the minute. The thing of whether you sack him, whether you don't, should he play kids, should he not? United need to commit to a manager and to a philosophy and to a style, and they need to decide it quickly because they cannot keep hemorrhaging money. They cannot keep hemorrhaging players. They cannot keep hemorrhaging opportunities. They need to, if it's not Amorim, you know that by now. Get rid of him. Get your guy in. But United cannot keep doing this cycle of bring someone in 2 years. They don't perform to standard for a number of reasons, mainly because the club's not at the level. Get him gone. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Because it's not going to work. If United want to return to the top, they need to do what every other club who had a similar fall and rise has done. Find a manager, stick by him through good and bad, and build. Now, I'm not going to say whether Amorim's that guy or not. Means
for that to happen, what needs to happen, unfortunately or fortunately, however you look at it, the fans need to accept that this ain't the house that Fergie built, and things are not going to happen quickly over here. Like they need to really appreciate that sentiment. If they can't, it's going to be messed up because right now, man, you're like The Rock. Like The Rock was exceptional in WWE, man, exceptional. Won so many heavyweight championships. Every time he comes back, it's box office, just like Manchester United, biggest team in the world, box office. They sell out all the time. But when The Rock goes back to his movies, nobody cares about The Rock. Like nobody cares about what you've done in the past anymore, Man United. You got to focus on rebuilding and starting from scratch, scrapping it all down. Amorim has to be the guy now. He has to be. I'm not saying he's the guy, but he kind of has to be the guy you go behind because of the way you've done it. Otherwise,
couldn't you say this? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No. Go on.
I was going to say, so couldn't you say this? But the issue is, it's easy for you to say that because you're a rival. If I would have repeated the same thing, or Terry would have repeated the same thing, because we're both United fans, we would be told it's copium. We would be told it's excuses. We'd be told it's lowering the standards. We'd be told it's loser mentality. We'd be told we're blindly backing a manager. We'd be told all sorts of things, and I hear this every day. I've done this on purpose. I watched the chat while you said this. Not a single person said, "Oh, he's waffling. It's copium." Not a single person also said it when Tom said that, and that's the issue. And that's actually the issue now that a lot of United fans are falling for that trap. A lot of them right now are just going by what is the easy thing to say. Let's just say it's the manager's fault. But when you explain them, okay, what was the manager supposed to do? There is no solution that they give you other than basically what you just said. You have to ride it out. You have to wait. You have to improve on the squad building. You have to basically, right now, you have to suffer with the failure of the past 10 to 20 years when it comes to operating this club, because that's what's happening right now. The people that destroyed this club, they're not here to suffer right now. Like, I mean, people like Woodward and them, they're not here right now. Even Ineos, listen, they deserve a little bit of criticism, but even they right now are getting more heat than the Glazers because they're the one that took over now, and you're seeing the eventually it caught up to us. The bad management for years has finally caught up to us. But right now, the people that are running the football and they're in the front line is Ineos, and they hired their guy Amorim. So these two parties are catching more heat than everyone else, even though they weren't here about 15 years ago when it all started going down. You get what I'm saying? Even if you want to simplify it, I'm not exempting Amorim from every 90 minutes he's played this season. There's sometimes where I was like, you know what, you probably should have done this, you should have done that. These are little tweaks in the game that I could speak about, but it doesn't distract me from the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is he inherited a squad that is absolutely horrendous, that was built mainly by Ten Hag, and it was by Ten Hag picking and choosing personnel and certain names rather than profiles. And now that he has to suffer from that, and by the way, let me remind you again, he never wanted to take over the job mid-season. He said, let me get this job in the summer because it's a rebuild and you can't rebuild mid-season. Ineos said it's now or never. So he's right now suffering from all this. But when you try to present a constructive argument and a reasonable argument, it is called excuses. At what point do you say this is a reason and this is an excuse? What is the difference between the two? Because I don't think I'm making excuses. I'm legitimately telling you what is happening. Whether you want to accept it or not, it is the facts. Not you, obviously, personally. It's just, I mean, in general. You know what I'm saying?
When you say that's on him, Kunle, what do you mean by that, mate?
Now, in terms of that, Man United told him it's either now or never. Like he didn't have to agree to that ultimatum. He decided to do it, so he went in knowing the situation. I'm not saying it was right for them to do it that way, but he went in knowing the situation. So we can't give him that excuse. But everything else stuff he said was 100% spot on. But what I also understood he was saying is, if the way I said it, no one said I was waffling and blah blah blah, and he's absolutely right, because at the end of the day, as a rival fan, we don't care about your pain. Do you know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep piling it on every week as you lot lose games, innit? That's what we're here to do. It's up to you lot to ignore that or be strong. Like, I mean, I've gone through it. Do you know what I'm saying? When we had blind faith in the manager, everyone used to say that, but we just kept kicking on, innit? So you lot just got to deal with the pain right now. Rival fans are gonna test you 100%. Are you gonna break or are you gonna stay behind something? It's up to you. But at the end of the day, we don't really care. We hope you don't have it.
Ultimately,
Listen,
I would want United to sack Amorim, because I know it's the wrong decision, because you'd just be starting the same cycle again. And if you're going to listen to rival fans about anything, you listen to what they say and you do the opposite, because we don't want you to do well. I want United to continue down this spiral for the next 20 years, because it will never not be funny seeing Manchester United lose football matches.
100%.
But the only way that's going to happen is if you keep backing out of rebuilds when you're on the cusp. You've already kind of committed to Amorim. You've bought him the left wing back. You've made the big decision in letting Rashford go because he'd fell out with the manager. You were close to letting Garnacho go because you know he was having issues with the manager. You're committing more and more to this manager's philosophy. If you just go and blow it up in the summer and go, no, we're going a different direction. That Dorgu money is arguably wasted because I don't think he's a back four fullback. I think he's a wing back, not a fullback. So therefore, he doesn't necessarily have a spot in the squad. Therefore, you know, who knows what could have been with Rashford? Maybe Rashford enjoys it at Aston Villa, signs on, you know, takes up his option to buy, and then all of a sudden you've lost out on Rashford, who maybe the new manager was planning on having. You've committed to this manager. You've got to ride it through now. You've made big decisions on his head. It's not fair for him or another manager to completely blow it up in the summer. It doesn't make any sense.
It would be more worrying for me, Tom, if they do decide to blow it up and do it all over again, because it would show me that it was a half-ass commitment. Mm-hmm. And that's the last thing you want to hear from your board. If any of our boards are half committed to any type of project, whatever it is, and they give up not even halfway through, we're nowhere near halfway line. I mean, you're talking about you're still in the first initial steps. We're not even 5% through this rebuild. And if they decide to blow it up, they deserve to get sacked before the manager. Because you're the one who decided to do that now.
I agree, and I understand your point, Kunle, about he decided to take the job now. And people, we've got a comment here from one of our long-standing members and moderators, Sharik, who says the minimum I wanted was good performances, not necessarily wins, just performances from what he has. I agree the squad isn't the best, but it isn't 15th place. And there is, but the thing is, Sharik, you're correct in a lot of what you say, and I understand that you want better performances. But this is not my issue, and I don't wish this to sound sad, not sad, rude, is a lot of the conversations about how to fix Man United are extremely reduction. A lot of the comments are very much reductionist comments. They make it sound a very easy and simple solution. So we know we're not the 15th worst squad in the league on paper. And one of the reasons you know that is 3 players, 50-50 split on Rashford, 50-50 split in terms of the fan base wanted Rashford out, wanted Rashford gone, but a lot of United fans said he was dead food. Looked really sharp in his first 2 games for Villa. 95% of everybody that watches football crowned Anthony the worst signing in Man United's history. 4 La Liga man of the matches on the bounce, 3 goals in 4 games. So one of 2 things is right here. He's a much better player than we saw, and every single fan of the Premier League is wrong, because he's now not the worst signing ever. He's actually really, really good. Or there is a much deeper underlying issue at Man United that not just damages players, that not just damages managers, has actually ruined the fan base, almost corrupted our minds to where we don't understand what our problems are and how long it's going to take to fix them. And for me, I was never married to the idea of Amorim being the head coach. And what I mean by that is I've wanted what I've wanted in terms of a set style of play, and you build a squad for that style, and then you look to continue that after that manager. I think if you work in that ethos, I think you'll create a very good team with the money that United spend over a course of a decade. And I say that because it's how every other club operates. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I'm just looking at how all the top clubs and the well-run clubs operate. They have a style of football, they sign the profiles for it, and they keep investing. And the more money you invest within those models, typically the better you do. There's a few outliers like Chelsea, who we'll get onto later. So for me, I spoke to someone today and said, "Oh, so what would you change? What's your solution? What would you do differently then?" Well, I know it's going to take 3 or 4 years to get back to the top. I just prefer a manager that plays 4-2-3-1. So I tried to respond kindly. I'm like, so this is just about your narcissism and you're not getting what you want. But and this is the point. No, I've not seen a single solution that guarantees a quicker turnaround to get back to the standards that Standard FC talk about: winning Prems, challenging for Prems, challenging for Champions League, winning Champions Leagues. No one thinks it can be done in less than 3 to 4 years. So if you got what you wanted, as in a particular manager or a particular formation, I think some Man United fans that don't like Amorim now, if he would have sacked off Garnacho but kept Rashford, I think they'd be fine with him. I literally think some of them, it comes down to that decision. I also think there's a percentage of United fans who have realized it's easier to side with rivals. It's easier to say, sack him and get him out and show no faith, because if it goes the right way, you can just join in with the rest of us and celebrate, and no one's really going to care. But it's a lot easier at this stage to have this massive comfort blanket, this huge safety net of just going, it's crap. Because you know what rivals do when you say, if you say sack Amorim and you're a United fan, every single rival leaves you alone. There is no banter. Oh, no, don't banter him. He's with us, bro. Don't banter, leave him. He's good, man. He's good. The rest of them we go for. And I think there's a combination of things. Another United fan I was talking to today, just DMing him because he wants the manager out. He went, "Do you know what it is, bruv? I put faith in the last 2 managers and I got burned. So I ain't doing it again." So it's nothing to do. It's to do with their own narcissism and their own, I might get shit online. It's nothing to do with Man United. So I look at what everybody says. I haven't been shown a single solution that gets us back to the top quicker. In terms of, they're all theories, of course. No one has said, if we do X, Y, and Z, I believe this gets us back to the top in 2 years, 1 year, 18 months. No one said that. When you actually start to have honest conversations with United fans about what they don't like, it's very much on a personal level. The manager himself said, and this is why I'm standing by him for whatever it's worth. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm not a fortune teller. But he said at the beginning, we're going to have some painful days. We are going to suffer. There's going to be some horrible moments. We're going to get exposed. We're going to get beat. We're going to go backwards at times. But I know that in 12 months to 18 months' time, you're essentially going to love what we're doing. But it's going to take that amount of time. The fact that he was that honest and it's gone the way he said is why I have is why I've got some hope and a little bit of faith that it could work out, because he's been as true as the day is long. And from my perspective, I don't want to go down the road of just sacking another manager and starting a process or a project again from scratch 3 or 4 months into this one. It sounds crazy to me. If we'd have started in the summer like a United fans, you got to remember this as well. In the summer, Staffy, what percentage of United fans online who are now angry would you say were backing keeping Ten Hag?
Oh, a lot of them. Remember they wrote the letters. A lot of them wanted to keep Ten Hag.
Yes.
I don't know a good percentage, but don't forget, people wrote the letters.
A big percentage. I still think a good 50-60% of fans that are active online were like, yes, we're keeping Ten Hag. He deserves it. He won a trophy. Give him a structure. So they advocated for the mistake from Ineos, which was keeping him. We've all called that. I called it out in real time and after the fact. Now what you're hearing is we should have waited to the summer before bringing Ruben in, so we had a pre-season and a full summer transfer window. Cool. But it still would have taken most of the next season to implement the style. And this is what they would have said. Come October. Bruv, if we'd have brought him in last November, we'd be nearly a year into the process now. That would have been the better decision. Because all of these individuals want instant success, which is impossible with this Man United squad, team, and club. They're never going to be happy. There is no perfect solution, because what they want, I believe, is impossible. They may get some instant gratification with a coach they like. Oh, we signed that player I love. Yes, he's sticking with Merino. Oh, great. He's a big Rashford fan. I love the fact he's brought Maguire back in. Whatever it may be, you might get those little slithers of things you like. But nobody was ever getting us back to the top without breaking a lot of eggs and without it taking 3 to 4 years. There is just no way. And again, I ask, find me a club the size of Man United, and it needs to be the size because of the pressure that we're upon us and the media attention. Show me a club that size that's fallen off for as long as we have, 11, 12 years, no title race, complete problems up and down, wasted money, some financial issues too. Find me that example where a new coach fixed them within 6 months. Show me the examples, give me the empirical evidence, and I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you. But at the moment, it just feels like a lot of hot air, a lot of narcissism, and a lot of people not accepting the reality of the situation that Man United are in. Let's just sack him if he doesn't win a trophy. Let's bring someone else in. What, do the same thing for the 7th time? 7 times running, thinking it's going to work. I just find it nonsensical. My solution is this, and it may not work, but at least I'm open enough and big enough to admit that my way may not bring us back to where we want to be. I'd rather give a guy 3 years, build the squad for him fully, and let's see where we are. Let's see where at least then, the very least, we've built a squad of a particular profile, which then makes bringing the next manager in easier. We're not this weird fucking halfway house again. That's my view on it. The results are not going to get much better for the rest of this season. I say we stick by what we're trying to do.
I hear it.
Some people may see it differently. I understand it, but I really would like to ask your solutions and how long you think it will take. And I know
even if you just look short term, short term for the rest of the season, Amad Diallo's been your best player. He's out injured for the rest of it. You know, a number of your better performers this year are injured.
It's an excuse, Tom. You can't say that. It's an excuse.
Sorry.
He can. He's a rival.
But you know, in the
George told me yesterday
term,
that was an excuse. He said that you guys don't have Saka, so because you guys don't have Saka, I expect United to perform like Arsenal do. Because we're on the same level.
Tom's a rival. He can say it.
You guys 2 minutes rage clip out of it, so it made his day happy. So
in the immediate short term, Manchester United aren't going to do anything because the only players that the manager trusts and the manager clearly rates as part of his long-term future are not going to be able to play for him for the rest of the season or for large parts of the rest of the season. So he's left with a group of players that aren't good enough and don't fit what he wants. And the thing is, the main thing for me is I'm seeing a bunch of United fans now going, he needs to go to a back 4. He needs to change his style of play. When that was the one thing that United fans, those same United fans, beat Erik ten Hag with for years. Why did he change from the style of play? We didn't buy Erik ten Hag to play Sam Allardyce football. Where's the Ajax football? Where's the total football? Then you get a manager who is going to do that and imprint his style onto it. And then you go, oh, why is he not playing winning football? Why is he trying to stick by his style? The toxicity and the lack of understanding for a project is the real issue there.
Yeah.
You need to understand that it's not playing. It's not plain sailing. It's shit. For the first couple of years, it's horrible. But you'll get back there with trust. And
I know people don't like it, and they don't like words like projects because of the Arsenal situation, and they sort of and it's not a dig at Arsenal, but the word's kind of a dirty word. It's a tarnished word. The problem is that every manager. I saw a tweet earlier on from Neji, and it just read so true to me. I'm going to try and find it here, where he basically came out and just said this. And this is why I'm just going to be more patient this time. And there's a question that someone's commented in here that I want to respond to. But did I star it? Did I save it? I don't know if I did. I'll try and find it now. And there's so much truth in this. But as football fans, I just think we really struggle with this type of thing. I can't find his page now. Where is he at? Why when you type, one thing I don't like about Twitter these days, you type in someone's name and it gives you loads of people with that same name, but you don't follow them. It's like, why would you not just bring up the ones that I fucking follow? That'd make a lot more sense, wouldn't it? Like, how does it not have that ability anymore? But it essentially says, I'll paraphrase it rather than word for word, but it basically said that everybody wanted loads of people loved and rated Amorim up until he became the Man United manager. And that was because we were all enjoying the smell from the flowers that he had built. And he goes, but nobody stops to think about how long it took him to grow those flowers. It took him 4 years. Sporting fans are looking at Man United right now and going, you guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. But it is because, by the way, it's because of phrases like trust the process. People don't want to do it. Oh, I don't want to be one of those guys. I don't want to be like those Arsenal fans. I don't want to say this. And it isn't as simple. It is that. At the end of the day, this is what I would say to Man United fans. Trust the process. It may not have been a phrase that was trending because there was no social media. But this is exactly what Man United did in the 80s with Sir Alex Ferguson. The club ignored all the outside noise and bad results because they knew what they were building internally. Now, again, it doesn't mean that there's a guarantee that Amorim will turn this round, okay? It doesn't mean that it's a guarantee that he will get us back to the top. But I'm simply stating I'm going to put some faith in it because the alternative is to repeat what we've done 6 times prior and failed with. Give me a better solution. Give me a better. And no, he didn't say building flowers. He said something else. And that's why I'm looking for the tweet, mate, because I need to actually read it out properly. But essentially what he was saying is that people don't care about how he built what he built. They're just looking at the results and going, I want those results. But they're not prepared to go through the building stage to get to those results. And I think his analogy was essentially, you're seeing the flowers and smelling them going, oh, this is great. But you're not prepared to put the hard work in and to persevere and suffer a little bit to grow what Amorim did. And that's the problem. If we want what he did at Sporting, it sounds like we've got to go through the same pain. As simple as that. But fans don't want that. They think there's an instant success. But every time we've sacked a manager and brought someone else in and gone, watch us fly now, it hasn't worked. So why don't we just try something different, grow some thicker skin, accept where we are right now? And by the way, Man United have been here before in tough times in our history. This idea, we're Man United though. Yeah, we've been here before. We've been relegated before. We've been awful before. 3 or 4 years before we won the Premier League, we were trash in the league. This is a fact. We've been here before.
Yeah, but these lot ain't built like that, man. These new lot ain't built like that, Terry. You know the reality. They're not built like before.
No one wants
social media is about.
The
social media, but everyone cares about everyone's opinion instead of just riding with their own one. That's the reality. And Man United fans are gonna get triggered. The reality is this season, you lot need to focus on staying up. That's it. And that's gonna be painful to sit in. That's gonna be so painful to sit into. Like literally, you got to just focus on getting.
No, but don't say that, Henry. See, you're doing what United fans do. Right now, Kunle's saying what he's saying is spot on. He said you need to focus on staying up. And let's be honest, there's a little bit banter in it, but it is a possibility. Let's be honest, we're 12 points away. We're not really going to get relegated, but we are in a relegation zone. That's where we are. You just have to accept you're that bad. When you're 15th, you're a relegation fodder this year. What you just said, Henry, you're in 2 cups. And that's the fallacy that I hate with United fans. They'll sit here, and I said this before, and I'll say it again. Go to your favorite Manchester United content creator on YouTube. I bet you every single one of them sat there, and when we got Amorim, they did a tier list, and they said keep, sell, and loan. And you saw 2-3 names in the keep and everyone in the sell. But these same people will sit here and say, oh, because I'm Manchester United, I demand we win the Europa League so I can play in the Champions League next year. Brother, I had an attacker that couldn't finish a one-on-one versus Spurs. Spurs never get clean sheets. I still remember that rant.
You got 2 in a row, by the way.
Henry, I remember that one rant you had when it went crazy viral, and you were talking about how many games in a row did you not have a clean sheet. You just had a clean sheet against us when you've given us a chance to score. That is how bad we are. Yet this fan base still thinks because my name is Manchester United, it means I need to be in the Champions League. You know, this, and I'll give you the best analogy. It's like my dad ran an amazing restaurant in the city. Amazing. For years. It existed for like 40 years. And then he passed it on to me after a very old age. I come in and I'm a shit owner. I'm a shit manager. The restaurant is shit now. The customer service is garbage. The cook is not even as good as the cook that existed. And people saying, oh, because my dad had that amazing name and that's how good he ran that restaurant, I am entitled to still be a good restaurant. How about you just admit that I took over this business and I cooked it? I just made it shit. The name doesn't mean anything when the operation has been shit. And what I'm left with right now, as in the product, aka the players, are just crap. Who the fuck wants to go to the Champions League with a front line of Haaland and Garnacho? What are we even doing here? Like, what is this sense of entitlement? Because we're in cups.
If you reeled out Garnacho,
because Ronaldo scored a header in fucking 2008 and won as a Champions League. Now I'm entitled to be in the Champions League for the rest of my life. What are we even doing here? I've had better squads over the last 10 years, and I went to the Champions League, and I was getting bounced in group stages, and I was getting bounced in the first round. And I had the likes of Lukaku. I had the likes of Pogba. I had the likes of Brahimovic. I had the likes of Maresca. I had so many good players, and I was still shit. What makes you think with these crop of players, I'll do anything better? What are we doing here? As Terry said, no one wants to actually be honest and have an honest conversation about this club. Because this club is absolutely rotten, and everyone wants us to expedite. And if you can't expedite the process, you're lowering the standards. How about the difference between me and you is that I'm realistic and you're an idiot? Maybe that's what it is. It's not about standards. You're just an idiot.
Do you not think Man United can win the FA Cup at all? Like, genuine.
What does that do to me? I won the FA Cup last season, Henry. Look at me.
Yeah, I know it doesn't do a lot, but do you think you can win the FA Cup this season?
What would it mean?
If you want to give me a Wigan story, go ahead.
What would it mean?
Well, the positive United fan would argue it's something to build on.
No,
but you don't even believe that.
Sorry. But what's something? But the thing was,
I don't believe that at all. No,
I want the trophies. I want the trophies. But I think these conversations are reductionist. This is what a reductionist does. Terry, we know the most important thing is in football is trophies, right? Yes, that's the end result. Well, therefore, if you win a trophy, you can build from it and grow from there. The performances are the most important thing. But we're not going to get the performances until we start giving this guy the players that he needs to make his system come alive. And I think Danny said something in the group chat earlier on today about he sees flaws in this system. And he sees flaws in the system, and therefore he can't buy into it. We've seen Rodri get injured and a few City players age out. And look at the flaws we've seen in the greatest manager regeneration system. Look at the flaws we've seen in Pep's system when a couple of players get out. I think you could argue that for most managers in the world, you remove their better players and there's a flaw in their system. I think most managers, I bet if you were to sit them down and go, how do you paper over the cracks of the flaws in your system? What do you do? Do you know what? I just bought someone that scores ridiculous levels of goals. That way it kind of papers over this little problem. You've got the Trent issue at Liverpool. How did Klopp get around Trent not being a great right back as a kid? Well, he built a workman-like midfield and he ensured that somebody covered that position as an example. It covered that issue. Ruben, of course, is going to have flaws. But why don't we build him a squad that can help cover those flaws and then hopefully he wins? That we're just at this point where I'd love to win the FA Cup this year, but winning the FA Cup doesn't make me think Ruben is a guarantee to get us back to the very top. What we need to do is build a squad that suits his style of football to see how it really plays. Only then are we going to start getting the real answers. And Man United fans, look, we can all argue till we've got grey hair and until we're blue in the face. Every single manager we sacked fouled. But what we don't know about any of them is if we would have given them exactly what they wanted, fully built their squads, and stuck with them through thick and thin, we have no idea where we'd be today. And I'll give you some examples. Imagine we give LVG, Pogba, and Zlatan the amount of times we pinned teams back, but we didn't have that player with that final ball or that striker to put the ball in the back of the net and we drew games. You add Pogba and Zlatan to that team, could have been different. Theoretically, it could have been. Look at Jose. With hindsight now, we should have listened to him and got rid of Pogba and Martial because they didn't fit what he wanted. We should have given him what he wanted. Why? Because up until that point, most of the time in his career, he'd been successful and player power became an issue after that. You've got Oli, who played a very direct style of football with loads of speed, loads of power, loads of pace. We hated it. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Now, according to Pep, it's what everybody's trying to build because it's what football's become. So maybe if we'd have stuck with him and just carried on adding better players that do that, maybe we'd be higher in the league or winning it now. Maybe we'd have gone, do you know what, Oli? Or Ollie's taken us as far as he can. But let's bring in another manager who's just going to continue doing that. Instead, we brought in Ten Hag, who played this cross between possession-based football, sort of Ajax and Barca, and that type of pragmatist direct football. We created some weird hybrid squad that's now full of no power and pace and gets run all over. So this is my point here, right? It's that we need to pick something that we're going to build and fucking finish it through thick or through thin. And there's a comment that came through here that said, Terry, honest question. Would you have this understanding if the teams in the relegation were about 1 or 2 points behind you? Yes. I don't want to go down, but I just think we've got to persevere through this. I do. And it isn't because I love Amorim. I'm saying this. If we sack him today and bring someone else in, my thoughts are we need to build this. We need to stick through it. I'm not going to change my mind on that. I just think we have to. Let's go to some of the comments here that have come through. Henry, who the F can these players make Man United win the cups?
I mean, you could shithouse a win. We've seen United shithouse wins last season.
They've done it.
The only
twice.
difference is once we start running out of luck, and we saw the main guy that bailed us out. Let's be honest, McTominay. The amount of points that he robbed for us last season. You're laughing, Kula, but it's true. He was robbing.
That's my guy.
points.
Scotty Too Hot is my guy.
But he was robbing points for us. I'm not even joking. It was daylight robbery last season, like where we robbed points. When the main guy who's robbing points for us is now gone, and we're actually living by the expectation. Last season we had the expected points had us finishing 15th. I swear to God. Full circle moment. A season later, we're actually in 15th. So
yeah.
You could shithouse, but it won't fix
I hear that,
anything.
guys. I do hear that. I want to get through super chats because we want to move on to Chelsea, and we're going to run out of time today. And we always end up doing this. We spend too long on one subject, and we've got lots more to get through. Took Fergie 7 years to win the league. No fast fix. I just agree. And by the way, anyone who doesn't like Amorim and thinks you want to criticize him on, I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with from Man United fans is no solution. No solution. And as I said earlier, when man said to me, bro, I know it's going to take 3 or 4 years, but I just want it to be with a different manager and a different style. I just think this is narcissism. If it was a Nottingham Forest fan on a particular show, he mentioned David Moyes at Everton. Now, for me, that's trolling. Well, this is the thing. David Moyes is a pragmatist. He took over a team that's built for pragmatism. That makes sense. Again, if Man United had just had, if we were Bayer Leverkusen and Amorim came in and took us from 1st to 15th, I'd say there's a managerial problem. But the situation is different. Danny Devlin Details asked me today, would Liverpool be top if they took Amorim instead of Slot? And my answer is no. Because the reason why I think they rejected him is they didn't want to overhaul the way they played as a club because they were right at the top. And his response was, there you go. And I still don't know what he means by it. Equally, if you ask me, would Amorim have Bayer Leverkusen up near the top of the Bundesliga if he took over from Alonso? Yes, because he'd be taking over a team built for that system and that style. So for me, it's some of the questioning around it is a little strange to me personally. Fans, Amorim out, think there is a quick fix. There's not. I agree. How will you know if you don't give a chance?
He's talking about me saying that you can't play the youth if they're not ready because there's a big jump up. Yeah. And I get that. How will you know if you don't give them a chance? But you trust that a manager and the training staff know whether they're ready or not to step up.
Yeah.
Okay, as I said to you yesterday, your 19-year-olds that were on the pitch yesterday, they have senior experience in football. Tell played in Bayern, Bergvall played minutes in the Premier League. All these kids that we had on the bench, any kid you would have brought on, that would have been his debut.
Yeah. That's
it. All of them were under 19, never played in the Premier League.
I agree.
Was Darren Fletcher's son on the bench?
Yeah, Darren Fletcher's son.
Yeah. Crazy.
There you go.
We should have given Darren Fletcher a game. I'm not.
I wanted to see the goalkeeper coach come on. Remember, Amorim said he'll rather put him on the bench.
I'm not Amorim out, but I've lost faith. Not giving Obi or Kone a chance. Watching Rasmus and that motherfucker Paul A. Stinker was diabolical. Also, where's the style? But when you say where's the style,
the other way.
So but my question when people say where's the style, articulate what you mean, because I think style of football is becoming a bit like the 12,500 different variations of what world class is. What do people mean when they say style of? And I mean it, because what do you mean? Because there is no set definition. What do you mean by style of play? I find it hard to answer that question now, because you'll answer it and someone goes, that's not what style of play is. So tell me what style of play is to you first, and then we can have the conversation. That makes a bit more sense to me. This is what Najee's tweet said, by the way. Thank you for KJ for finding it. He says, someone quote tweeted and looked at the league table when Sporting were top of the Champions League. He said, Ruben Amorim with his style of play, problems lie deeper than the manager. Don't fall for the trap. Najee quote tweeted it and said, and it took 4 years for Ruben to create that team earlier on this season that everybody loved. He says no one knew anything about him until people saw the flowers, forgetting he had to grow them. Yet fans go, yes, come to United and play like that after 6 months. coach them, style of play, like written. You know, when people do the capital letters and the small letters combined, and it's true. It's just people don't want to understand what it takes to get to those to those levels. Hold up, Terry. You said we should have picked. Sorry, hold up, Terry. You said we'd have. Sorry, I can't read that.
We should have picked something.
We did with Ollie, and by the second season, everybody was saying, "Toughen it out." Wanted him to go. No, I understand. I'm talking about the club here, but this is maybe you missed my point. Forget the fans for a moment. It's where the club's got to be strong. We were building something with Ollie, which got us third, that got us into some finals. And I don't necessarily think Ollie was the right guy to get us over the hill. But with the amount of money we invested, the next manager that should have come in to play a very direct style in the same way, but was just a better manager. What we should never have done is gone for a Ten Hag and then break that all apart again and suddenly have Christian Eriksen running the midfield instead of Pogba. We shouldn't have got rid of all the pace that was in our team for what we've got now. As an example, we had goal scorers for days. One of them we can't help but leaving. Where are they now? So it's about sticking to something. And by the way, sticking to this plan with 3 at the back, that doesn't even mean Ruben's got to stay the whole time if he ain't good enough. But once you start building that squad, you continue building that squad. You can't drop 400 million to get it 30, 40, 50, 60% built and then go, right, Ruben's gone now. Let's go back to 4-2-3-1. Going to start again, and it might mean another 400 or 500 million starting again. We've got to stop this process, this pattern. Sorry, the solution will appear if you root cause why at United, players down tools at United, and players better once they leave. Till then, you are playing blind darts. Yeah, root cause analysis is always needed, my friend, and but United fans don't like doing that because it's too painful for them. Only one man can steady the ship and save United. Bring in Big Sam. I did tweet last night that somebody would say that on the show. Lo and behold, that banter live.
Who's the other guy that left Everton? Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche will come out soon as well. All the jokes are here.
I gotta go, guys.
Cheers, Staffy. I appreciate it. Obviously, CB and the Chelsea fans didn't turn up today. I don't know why, but they didn't turn up. Chelsea also had another awful game this weekend. Tom, what's gone wrong at Chelsea in your opinion?
I, for one, am shocked that you buy a championship manager, a bunch of unproven kids, and it means you don't finish in title races straight away. Who would have seen that coming? Only everyone in the summer with a brain. Look, the same things that were said about the United project were saying with the Chelsea project. They have bought a lot of young talents. They have an unproven manager. I'm sorry, I'm not moved by the fact he won the league with Leicester. Ooh.
They nearly bottled an 18-point lead.
They nearly bottled an 18-point lead, and he had the best squad in the league.
What league?
Last season in the Championship, Enzo Maresca nearly bottled an 18-point lead. They've spent so much money, and yet that squad is what it is. It's not a Champions League level squad. It isn't. It's not one of the top 4 squads in the league. If Cole Palmer doesn't turn up, which he's not been doing much recently, that attack looks useless. That midfield, when anyone partners Moises Caicedo that isn't Romeo Lavia, looks horrendous. That defense just looks like a ticking time bomb for mistakes. And that is what happens when you have so many young players. I said it in the summer, and I'll ask it again. Who's the experience in this Chelsea squad? Who's the guy who, when they're going away from home or when they're in tough runs of form, is going to calm everyone down, provide a cool head in the situation? Who is it? Chalobah? Is it Trevor Chalobah? Reece James? We're talking about guys who just 3 years ago, when they won the Champions League, we talked about as the young kids. They're now arguably the most experienced heads that they've got. That's the problem. There is no senior leadership in that team. It's kids. It's kids running kids. It's not going to work at the top level for a couple of years. I doubt it will work at all unless they bring in top 1 or 2 top experienced heads. Because this is what happens. You hit runs of form like this, and because there's no experience, you get longer spirals. You get longer runs of bad form because they don't know how to get out of it. Ignoring the fact that they've spent £1 billion and got crap goalkeepers out of the entire billion. They could have spent 80 million quid on a good goalkeeper once. Instead, they've spent 80 million quid on 7 goalkeepers. None of them are good enough.
Tom, sorry to cut you off. Where do you think they'll finish? Do you think they'll get in the top 4?
No, they won't get top
Top
4. It depends on Newcastle. I've got Chelsea down as finishing 6th. I think Newcastle will pick them.
That's what I did on my predictions video the other day. I said 6th or 7th. I think Bournemouth, Newcastle.
Oh wait, Henry, did you have that same prediction at the start of the season?
I'd have to go back to I don't think so. I think I had them 4th. But they've like looking at the next 8 games, there's a lot of winnable games and there's a lot of really tough games for Chelsea. I can see a bit of a seesaw pattern coming. They've got Villa on Saturday. Bearing in mind, Villa have got, is it 5 games in 14 days?
Yeah, so Villa's a weird one because we played them in midweek and they didn't want to play our game. They wanted our game to be moved. So I get the feeling they might be resting players in our game and going, we'll beat Chelsea and make up for it there.
Yeah, so or somehow they get a result against you and then rest them against Chelsea. Either way around. And then they've got Southampton, Leicester, Arsenal and Spurs in the next 4. 2 relegation teams. Arsenal always tough and then they normally get a good result against us. If this bad run of form continues throughout these lot of teams, the pressure is going to be enormous because at the moment, I think Bournemouth are playing much better football.
Bournemouth are fantastic at the minute.
Newcastle have got better firepower, and I'd back them to finish higher than Chelsea. City looked really good against Newcastle, and the other 3 are better anyway. Like,
can I ask you guys a question about Chelsea though? Is it about sacking Maresca? Because a lot of Chelsea fans are doing we've got a good enough squad, the manager's making mistakes, or is this about admitting maybe that you've got to remember now they are getting towards the end of their 3rd year of this project of buying young players and building this team. They're on their 4th manager in that process as well. Is it about sticking by this coach and helping him through maybe some of the mistakes he's made and buying him better, more experienced players? Or do you think the Chelsea fans are calling for his head are right?
What I'd say to it is, just very, very quickly, I would judge Maresca on some of the big decisions he's done in cup games, for instance, on if they should keep him long term and if he is the right guy. Making 9 changes in a cup game against Newcastle and then expecting them to go out and put in a good performance at St. James's, I think was absolutely ludicrous. The performance they put in the cup against Brighton, followed up with the following defeat against Brighton as well, is absolutely piss poor. And he can't find his best front 3 at the moment because of injuries. And like the one player you've looked at throughout this 3-year project at Chelsea who has been the shining light is Cole Palmer. And even right now, he is not firing all cylinders. Like in the last 10 games, can anyone name more than 3 or 4 Chelsea players that have been really good? No, I don't think you can. So I do agree with a lot of Chelsea fans. This Chelsea team should be in that top 4, but you've got an inexperienced coach. Like Tom said, what do you expect? You've got a manager that's managed an average team in Italy and in the Championship, and now you're saying we should be in the title race. This is not proper Chelsea. Like
you see this thing, Harry. Yeah?
I don't know.
And sorry.
No, go on. Go on.
Nah, so Terry knows I've been quite consistent with these Chelsea boys from the start of the season. I didn't get moved by their form at the start of the season, and I kept consistent. They were not making top 4. And Chelsea fans will say it's hating and it's because I support Arsenal, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is the proof is in the pudding. Because if you look at it, look at the squad. I don't mind Chelsea fans saying, looking at our squad, talent and potential-wise, we're maybe the top 2 squads in the league. Talent and potential-wise, yeah? But this football thing is not built on talent and potential, unfortunately. It's built on what you can do on the pitch. And just like Thomas said, that like there's no experience in this Chelsea squad. So when the dark days come in and the bad form comes in, he's right. There's no one to pick them up. So I could see that happening this season. It wasn't something new. I knew they'd have a run where they'd beat teams left, right, and center and play some good football because there's some talent in there. But maintaining it to the stage where some of the fans were talking about title challenges, it goes back to the whole myth of thinking you're better than you are. The reality is, if they sack Maresca now, what Chelsea fans are telling us is they should have kept Poch. And the reason why I say that is because these Chelsea fans, unfortunately, they had the audacity they finished 12th, then Poch got them, what, the 5th or 6th?
6th cup final.
That's improvement from 12th, if I'm correct. Is that not improvement from 12th? But these Chelsea fans think they're supposed to be in title races just because they've got a lot of talent and potential in their squad, and that's not the reality. So they should have just rode it out with Poch. But now they're in a situation where Maresca's come in, he's got a squad of just talented players with no experience, him having no experience on top of that. And you kind of in a situation similar-ish to United, you got to back him now. You got to. You literally might as well, because it just looks stupid. It just looks
that Brighton
again. You just got to back him.
That Brighton game on the weekend, obviously the weekend before that, they'd also lost away at Brighton. That, to me, was the game. You've just lost to them last week. You're going to the same ground. You know, you've not had great form recently. That's where you'd want one or two experienced heads in the lineup, calm everyone down, get them playing their football. Instead, what you got was a team that played like they'd lost already because they'd lost before. They were sitting there going, oh, they're going to beat us again. Oh, we don't know how to stop them. Silly mistakes were happening. Silly mistakes that have been happening all season were happening. And it just started the spiral. And when that attack doesn't bail them out, which, you know, Palmer can't do every game, you saw what you saw. A Chelsea team that didn't have a shot on target for 90 minutes. That's horrendously bad. Horrendously bad to not have a shot on target for 90 minutes. The one thing about potential is it's never going to be, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. Chelsea fans have got to realise that some of these players aren't going to hit the marks that are made out that they're going to hit. They're not all going to be world beaters.
Yeah. Can I just say as well, before I go, David, thanks for joining us, David. I appreciate it, mate. I look at it from this point of view. I think Maresca's definitely made mistakes. And I understand that Chelsea went through a period in their history where when they sacked managers, the new one came in and was sometimes better than the previous or won them big trophies within, you know, Tuchel came in the middle of the season. They won the Champions League. Roberto Di Matteo came in the middle of the season and won the Champions League. I think did he win the FA Cup that season as well with Di Matteo? Yeah. 2 trophies. They won 2 trophies that year. And I understand that that's happened before. I also get that, you know, you brought in some really good managers in that first decade of Roman, and you know, you went from Jose after Ranieri to you brought in Jose, you won back-to-backs. You then went and won your first double with Ancelotti as an example. Chelsea don't have that core anymore to be able to get away with it. Maybe in the future, if a number of these players become established top-level winners, you can maybe go through that. I think they have to have a period where they persevere with a coach. Where I'll keep the same energy with Man United. I think they need to persevere and grow together as a unit. I know what Chelsea were, but some of it is through Roman, the world changing during Roman's time and other people having more money. Some of it was to do with the changing of ownership and the direction that they went in. And I'm sure Chelsea fans have got multiple more layers they can add to this because it's their club and they'll know more than any of us. But I just think there's this point of maybe you've got to build out that core again. And I don't know, just a gut feeling. And I say that because under this new ownership, so let's forget what Roman did. Under the new ownership, they got rid of Tuchel, they got rid of Potter, they brought in Lampard, they got rid of him, and they brought in Poch, and they got rid of him, and they brought in Maresca. They're looking at their 6th manager in 3 years if they go through of sacking him. And I can't see the proof in the pudding in this with the new regime, with the new way they're operating, that sacking managers regularly works. So I got it in the early Roman years. It did. It worked when you sacked Lampard and brought in Tuchel. But no disrespect, the upgrade of Lampard to Tuchel, it's like, okay, yes, I'm going to get to work quicker if I go from a Fiesta to a Ferrari. Like that's not rocket science. If the upgrade is that big, and maybe that's it. Maybe if you go from Maresca because you can get Alonso as an example, you can go and get Klopp would take over, then do it, because I think you're upgrading to an absolutely another level of coach. But if the upgrade is somebody that's 2 more years experience than Enzo Maresca, hasn't won anything, I don't know if it's actually going to help you. I just feel as though maybe you've got to look at this differently and go, right, what's fouled in the last 3 years? Or continually changing manager hasn't worked. So maybe buck the trend a little bit. I can't guarantee it will work. I just don't feel like you're going to attract a manager of Alonso's level, Klopp's level. Ancelotti ain't coming back. And I just don't think sacking him fixes Chelsea. Just a gut feeling. I just don't think it will. I don't know about you, David, because you weren't ever a Chelsea fan that spoke about you're going to win league titles, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. But it does seem to be a lot of talk at the minute about sacking Enzo Maresca, the players not being good enough. A lot of turmoil at your club on this bad run you're on.
Yeah, I don't know why they're talking about Maresca, to be honest, because you look at the squad and there's massive holes in it. They're like, for me, I keep telling people, no matter how much you think Enzo's improved defensively, and he has, to his credit, he's just not a defensive midfielder. Like, he's just not. Why do you think he is? Because he's just not. His best attribute is creating and attacking in the third, like progressing the ball forward. So
all
why
action midfielder, David? No? All action, bro.
But I don't believe in that. I'm not one of those Chelsea fans that believes he is all action. So you can't whack that tag on me. I've never said that. Again, thinking that there are certain, again, you look at our defense, there's no leader in that defense. And I think when Colwill and Fofana are together, that's probably your best pairing. But still, it's still very shaky. And as I was saying from the start of the season, having Robert Sanchez behind them makes them even more prone to mistakes because he's so bad. And I know it's funny because we brought in Jorgensen, and yeah, he didn't have a great performance in the last game. But one, nobody did, and two, despite how bad Jorgensen was, no one can tell me that wasn't an average Robert Sanchez performance, because that's probably better than an average Robert Sanchez performance. When I have Jorgensen in goal, while he's maybe not is he an elite goalkeeper? I think it's too early to tell. I'd say currently probably not. He doesn't really. I'm not scared every time he gets the ball at his feet. Whereas with Robert Sanchez, it's like I'm petrified of what's going on. So do you know what I mean? There are mistakes Maresca's made. You probably should have got rid of Sanchez earlier. Probably should have. I don't think we should ever play Enzo and Caicedo together for consecutive runs of games. You can do them in the odd game. When we did it against Spurs, it worked because it was something they probably hadn't planned for, and the way the game was going, it was probably more ideal for the team. But I don't think you can have that midfield pairing for game on game on game on game because it just leaks too many chances, and you're too poor in the transition to make up for it. And again, we don't have guaranteed goals, which is a massive problem, because when you're not scoring and you can't defend, that's a recipe for a disaster.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's why I think a lot of the Chelsea fans that I come across that are like, Enzo's got to go. I think they're the individuals that don't want to admit they were wrong and that they overhyped certain members of the squad. For instance, they'd all go at Sanchez, but the way I've heard some of them talk about Jorgensen like he is the savior, I don't think he's good enough. I don't think there's anyone on your books as a keeper that's good enough. The way so many of your defenders were hyped up, whether it be ability or availability, they're nowhere near where they should be. The midfield. Yeah, I mean, in fairness, I thought Dewsbury Hall would be a lot better at Chelsea than he's been, to be fair. But I can admit that. I look at the three main midfielders. Caicedo, excellent. Everyone's right about him. Mm-hmm. I think everyone's wrong about Enzo and Lavia. Lavia on ability, great. But on availability, he's shit. If you can't play, you are terrible. Because you're literally zero impact on the game, right? If you get understand my meaning. When it comes to the attack, and I want to read something here. I want to read this out. This is from a Chelsea legend in Obi Mikel. And he said today, Jadon Sancho came in and deceived us, as in Chelsea. He says, with a couple of games, and we thought, fucking hell, we're getting the Sancho from Dortmund, but he's gone again. I don't know what happened to him, but he has disappeared off the grid. But it isn't just him. Neto's performances have not been consistent. Madueke's are not consistent. Palmer is going through a bad patch, and I think he's getting a lot of stick when he shouldn't be because he's been so good in the first 18 months of his career. Jackson started well. When the pressure came on, he faded, and none of us have seen enough of Mark Yu to have an opinion. Isn't this, David, just not a case of maybe the Chelsea fans are turning and going toxic right now? Is it maybe not that they just overhype this squad, and actually what Maresca needs is the board to buy in better players?
I personally think that there's a lot of Chelsea fans with egg on their faces who aren't ready to admit it. Because when I was sat here, one thing everyone who has watched me for the past even since I've been starting the terrace, the first thing that you probably knew about me was I hate young players. Why? They aren't consistent. Like literally, people used to give me
Mason
so
Mount.
much. People used to give me so much stick for saying it, and then my club adopted the strategy. And me myself, as someone who's not a big fan of them, I said, fine, if we're gonna do this, let's do it. But I'm gonna be patient. I'm not gonna pile loads of pressure on them from the start. And then the start of this year, when we played well, people were like, "Oh, title race." I was there like, "Are you all stupid? This is gonna it's gonna."
Yeah, I hated that about you as well, man. I was
because
about
because no matter how close we were, 2 points. There were times when we were one.
We needed you to inject that Don in energy. We needed that Don in you, bro.
If Liverpool played at 12:30 on the Saturday. And if Liverpool and us had switched fixtures in terms of timing and we'd gone 1 point above them, you all would have been sat here saying, "David, why are you saying it?" And it wouldn't have changed because I knew it was coming. Again, what I think is going to happen is that we'll go through this bad patch and then we'll level out and we'll probably finish around 4th or 5th. That's what I think is going to happen. That's genuinely what I genuinely believe, because I just don't think even despite how bad we've been. The Brighton game is an outlier. The Brighton game was genuinely terrible. That was a really bad game. But apart from the Brighton game, we still create chances. We can see chances on goal, but hopefully with Jorgensen and not Sanchez, it will be a lot less stress on the defense, in my personal opinion. But I don't think Maresca's got to change anything dramatically or anything. I'd rather he does the Amorim approach and stick to weeding out what's good enough and what's not. That's my opinion 100%, because I think I've seen enough in that first 20 games when it's like, if we had a squad where you could rotate players and put people in and they'd actually be good enough, that you'd actually be able to progress. And also, as I said before we even got Maresca, why did we sack Poch? Because even if you'd like Poch or not, I felt this squad needs consistency. I think when you've got a young team, the thing that helps them the most is a level of consistency where they're playing week in, week out, and they've got the same person giving them the same instructions. I think if you chop and change everything, all you do is stunt their growth. Imagine you had like a flower, you pour water on it, and then 3 months in, you stop giving it water. And then another 3 months after, you started giving it water again. It's obviously going to not look like a proper flower by the end of it because you've messed around with it too much. It won't look right.
You started this flower thing.
No, but you know what I mean?
The flower analogy, I would say more changing the direction of which the light comes in. It would grow bent, wouldn't it? 1 week it's going this way, and then you move the light the other side, and it would grow the other way. It wouldn't grow naturally. It would look a bit mangled.
I know water's a bad example because it needs water. Do you know what I mean? But it was
water doesn't change.
Yeah, you wouldn't know this guy's about to get a PhD, would you? Fucking hell, or whatever it is he's doing. But listen, I hear you completely. Look, of course, there's things to criticize Maresca about. And it's not about him being exempt. I just think a lot of the Chelsea fans I listened to a lot of podcasts this weekend, and there seems to be this element of, if I blame him, I can still keep saying my squad's better than Arsenal's. I can still keep saying that my team is one of the best in the league, as opposed to actually Maresca's made mistakes, but some of the players have shown themselves this season to not be. And I tell you, when they showed themselves to not be good enough was when the pressure was on. Whenever as soon as title talk was being put around, a lot of them puppers went. The old April went. The April, and that's not a dig. I think it's a good thing for Chelsea. It's a good thing to go, oh, we know he can't handle pressure. You've got to look to buy someone better who can, because if you're going to keep improving, you're going to be in more of these title race situations. This comment here says, just not forget you said Cole Palmer was the best player in the world. That isn't what I said.
I said on form, Cole Palmer is playing like one of the best players in the world, and I still believe that to this day.
I thought it was a dig at me.
Did you say one? Did you say one of them?
I said, okay, fine. If we could go to.
Just ask. I'm asking, David. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just asking. Why's your back up against the wall? Chill. You look stressed.
To this day, I still believe it to this day. Saka has never touched that level that Cole got to, and I'll still say it to this day with chess. I believe it because Cole, that output he was doing, it was like, no matter what situation, no matter what was going on, goal, assist. This guy was going crazy. He was
Crazy,
going
bro.
crazy, bro.
Crazy.
And that man, and Tom was
One
there.
season,
If he
crazy,
had been playing that Euros final, we would have won. This country would have had a trophy next to it. I'm saying it with chest. I believe it.
You hold on to that, brother. You hold on.
No,
to
but again,
I don't disagree with that
One
last
season.
part. To be fair, Foden, Harry Kane, or Ollie Watkins,
do you know what I mean?
Palmer. I know which one I wanted.
Saka's amazing, but I just thought Cole was playing at a level that was like
on Palmer though. On Palmer, a lot of Chelsea fans, I've seen CB trending today and others absolutely going in on him that he's sort of fallen off, not happy with the performances. Kate, what do you think's led to that? We'll have a bit of a discussion about that as a panel. Viewers, we want to get your thoughts on it as well. What's happened to Palmer in the last 10, 11 games?
He's probably started believing his own hype. He looks a bit of a cocky little prat, so that's probably what's happened to him.
Let him have it, Kate.
Yeah, let him have it. I've got to just say, I found it a little bit cringe. I don't know what you thought, David, that a big section of your fan base was singing for Roman Abramovich. I don't know if they're thinking he's going to come back, but I think they need to move on because Chelsea ain't the Chelsea that they were. I don't know what's happened with Palmer. To be honest, I don't care. I hope his form never, ever returns. I'm loving the drop-off of Chelsea. It was only they only needed to beat Everton to go, was it top of the league? And now they're, so no idea why he's dropped off, but long may it continue and the Chelsea downfall continue for as long as humanly possible. Is my thoughts on the matter.
People are paying a bit more attention to him now, a couple of double teams. Like,
yeah, maybe
when
David Hayes the best player in the world.
You can't do the second thing. You can't hang. You can't
Again,
hang.
all I'm saying,
unless they don't know about him, you can't hang.
All I'm saying,
how they know about him, nowhere to
talking
be seen.
about-
But
we're
to be
talking
fair,
about a kid.
no, but hey, Dave, Palmer's a baller, big baller, but he's not on Saka's level yet.
That's cool.
Until he's able to
How
do
have
it
we
for a
ended up
couple of
with this
seasons.
debate again? One of them hasn't played for
Because
3
David
months.
he brought it up. He mentioned Saka.
No,
so
actually, the comment brought it up. I just say the comment.
you didn't have to use his name.
But it was just an example.
You knew you were going to draw me out. You knew it.
Yeah, I do.
Nigel cried. Yeah.
You can't even compare him to Saka because there's no consistency there. Obviously, he obviously folds under pressure, and Saka's shown that he can do it consistently at the highest level.
We're talking.
Hey, let her speak. Let her speak. Sorry.
I just want to know. I just want to preface the conversation with: we're speaking about a kid who this season's got 20 goals and assists in the Prem. I just want to preface that, and you could say whatever you want.
Doesn't Saka have more?
No. He's been injured for 3 months.
When people
At
say,
least you answered the reason why.
Yeah, no.
There's someone in the chat. I think, was it Kate? Did you say Palmer doesn't turn up on the occasions?
I don't know what I said. I said that I don't like him. I could have said anything.
And Palmer scored in the Super Cup final, the Euro final, the Community Shield.
That's the cup for Chelsea, you grifter.
Oh, there you go.
Every talk
Community Shield is important now, Henry.
And Saka, to my knowledge, hasn't scored in a semi-final, let alone a final.
Let me ask you a question, Henry. For Chelsea, what's your thoughts been on Cole Palmer in Chelsea's big games?
Yeah, he hasn't been good enough. I will say that he hasn't been good enough in a lot of their big games. But
Thanks for that,
I don't think shitting on him right now when he is the only shining light you've had in the last 3 years.
There was no but to your answer.
Right
You just answer your clear question. There was no but. Big up.
No, I don't think he has been good enough. I think he's the only big 6 games he scored in was Man United, us, and City at home.
You don't have to keep reminding us he's been doing bad, Henry. We know. Yeah. That's why I asked you the question, bro.
But what? No, yeah, there is no but. Yeah, there is no but. Yeah, he hasn't been good enough in big games, but I prefer him over Saka.
Yeah, however, no, I think again as a Chelsea fan.
Hang on, sorry, David. What did you say about Saka at the end there, Henry?
I said I prefer him as a player over Saka. I'm not saying he's better than Saka. I'm saying I prefer him the way he plays.
Hang on, you prefer him because he's better in your opinion, then, right?
No, because I think he's got an X factor in his game, and I don't know. I haven't seen that from Saka yet.
But you have to. Are there any other walks of life where you prefer something but you don't think it's better?
No, because
I prefer tea over coffee.
For 3, 4,
I prefer
5
tea
years.
over coffee. Oh, do you think tea's better than coffee? No, coffee's better than tea, but I prefer.
No,
what does it mean? I'm
okay.
confused.
Well, you could argue because more people drink coffee, so that's better. So you could use that argument.
No,
Terry,
get back to the point.
Terry.
Saka's done it for 5 years. So there's data there to suggest he is a better player. However,
prefer that someone
the way
that does it for
Palmer
1
plays
year.
football
Perfect.
is how I prefer it. So
Okay,
think
and I understand that. I'm just trying. Listen, and by the way, you preferring Palmer doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I know it doesn't.
What bothers me is the logic. I don't understand how you can prefer something but not think it's better. I can't
Terry,
think of another example in
Terry.
life where you do that.
Terry, you prefer Lamar to, I don't know, someone else, like someone big, but you'd rather listen to Lamar.
No, but yeah, because I think Lamar's better. But I
Okay,
objectively,
fair enough.
objectively, I know that Luther Vandross is better than Lamar will ever be, objectively. But I would rather listen to Lamar because I think he's better, personal preference. So that's what I'm saying. Henry's like, I would prefer Palmer. I don't care. That's his opinion.
Okay,
Fair.
but okay, I could say I
You also
prefer.
said Saka's better. I'm
The
confused.
reason, yeah.
The reasoning is confusing.
I could say I prefer Kendrick to Drake.
Oh,
Right.
not this again.
Everyone knows Drake has sold 10 times the amount of albums. So there's data there to suggest
Nah.
Drake's better.
I'll help you out, Henry. I prefer Kobe to LeBron. LeBron's a better player, but I
Yeah,
prefer
fact.
Kobe's style of play.
Yeah, but but you think the one you think's better is better, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think,
Yeah. Essex boys lost it. Are you speaking French? Are you speaking French, Henry? What's going on
yeah,
here?
I'm
Like,
speaking French now, aren't I?
what are you doing here? Maybe just that. Listen, and you're allowed to think that. A lot of people do, and I think Palmer's amazing. I think the way some Chelsea fans have spoke about him this week is utterly ridiculous. He is 18 months into his career. Yes, he scored some goals for City. Yes, he had some appearances, but the boy didn't play regular. He's only been playing regular football since he's been at Chelsea. And what he has given Chelsea in that 18 months has been nothing short of fantastic. He's hit his first lull of his career, and these exist. Lampard had it. Terry had it. Zola had it. Drogba had it. And they're legends of your football club. Palmer's going to have a lull. There was no way he was joining your club at 21 years of age and was going to stay there till he was 35 and have no period like this. Some of the attacks, some of the sort of ad hominem attacks and the sort of pejoratives that he's been called, I think it's an embarrassment to your football club to treat a player that has been the only reason your heads have been kept above water for large parts of the last 18 months, to go at him in any way, shape or form at this moment, rather than supporting him through this time. I think it's either opportunistic, can I get noticed online? Or it's an abomination to your club. It's as simple as that. It's really wrong.
Again, the one thing I will say is I feel like, and it's not only a Palmer thing, but I feel like the Chelsea squad in general. And one thing I will say about Maresca is I don't feel like he's using players in their best position, in a sense of, I think Neto as an example. Neto's not been great this season. However, I think Neto's probably his best ability, apart from his dribbling, is his crossing. But when you play Nkunku up top, you're crossing it to no one because there's just nobody there. Like he's not a big body, and he rarely is in the box anyway. Whereas when we had Guiu up front, the team looked a bit more cohesive because you had a big striker up there who could. I'm just saying. I feel like some players look better when you have a certain thing that helps them out, because there's no point in having a really good crosser of the ball. There's no one to head the ball in. There's no point in having someone who's a really good passer in behind of a defense, but no one running behind to get the ball. So there have been times when you look at the squad, like how the squad's been put together for a game day, and you're just like, this isn't going to work because the players that you put together aren't going to, they're not going to produce something that you want to see. Sancho, I think, Sancho needs like a goal scorer to help him out, but also he needs like an overlapping fullback. So maybe Sancho for Chelsea, a team that plays underlapping fullbacks, might be a bit of a problem. Like, do you know what I mean? Because that's when I think when Sancho's at his best, when he's not getting doubled. When Sancho gets doubled, his instinct is, I'll go back and recycle it. And then you end up with Matisse going, all he does is like nod his head and then pass it back. So,
profile. Listen, profiles are so important in the modern day game. Having the right players for your, like I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans go, "There's no point in us crossing the ball because none of our strikers can do X, Y, or Z." Well, then you've either got the wrong strikers or the wrong wingers. I don't blame the manager if that's the truth. I don't necessarily blame the manager per se if that's what he's got at his availability at this point. Don is here with us, turning up
Yes,
Stone
yes.
Cold Steve Austin, kicking the glass door.
Look at Kate. There we go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we've arrived. You know what I mean? People, I just got back from Paris. I was listening to what you man are saying. Kunle, give it a rest, bro. Some people prefer Palmer. Give it a rest, bro. It don't mean Saka's dead. It don't mean Saka's shit. It don't mean Saka's done nothing. But give it a rest. Like Henry says, he prefers Palmer. He prefers watching Palmer playing, bro.
Oh, no, I didn't bring it up, so you obviously weren't watching the show. I didn't bring it up. I didn't bring it up.
People have preferences, bro. Yeah? Don't try to tell people that
I didn't
Palmer
bring it up,
isn't
bro.
consistent. Hold on. Don't try to tell people that Palmer isn't consistent as if my man didn't come in his first year and be your boy's best GA in his first season, blood. Yeah? Talking about pressure. Ask Tom who created the best chances in that final for us. Ask Tom when we played Liverpool last season. Gallagher in the last few minutes. Palmer created for him. Yeah? In the box in the first half.
You lost 3-0 to Brighton. This is what you've come on the show to say. You've lost 3-0 to Brighton and you've come on to talk about Cole Palmer.
You gooners.
European finals.
Gooners,
Are you joking?
Bro, you
Where's
gooners
your
are beyond
self-awareness, bro? Where's your
you gooners
self-awareness?
are beyond
You guys
obsessed.
stinking up the
You're
place
so
right
angry.
now. You're coming on
You're
here
so
after a
angry.
3-0
Hold
loss.
on, Kule. You're so
Hyping
angry
about
that
last
hold on,
season.
bro. You're so angry that there's other people that prefer Palmer over Saka, and it hurts you. Like, why can't you just accept it? Why can't you accept that there's people that prefer Palmer in comparison to Saka? Why can't you just accept it? Why?
I accept.
There we go. So stop talking about it then. It's as simple as that, bro. Right? No one's gonna tell me that last season. No one's gonna tell me that last season Palmer wasn't turning up against the big sides because we were seeing better performances last year.
I want to know where Palmer was against Brighton. That's what I want to know.
Where was the whole team against Brighton?
Where was the Palmer against Brighton? Can you explain that?
Palmer was up top against Brighton. That's where he was. Put Bukayo up top. Let's see what he does up top. Put Saka up top. Let's see what he does against Brighton up top.
We're not talking about Saka. We're talking about what happened to Palmer at Brighton. Talk me through it.
Palmer was playing up top. That's what happened.
And what does that mean? Elaborate.
He's not a striker. That's what that means.
That was it. That was
okay.
He was playing as a striker. Is that it? Okay.
Bro,
so
if you're gonna play him out of position as a striker, I don't expect nothing from him, bro. I don't expect anything from him.
He's an adaptable player. He can play a lot of positions.
Terry, how long have I been telling you, Terry, that I know this team inside out and I know how shit we are without a striker, right? Last season, if you go back to last season, Jackson was getting cooked by most of the fan base. The only time people started to appreciate him was when he went to AFCON and we had to play Palmer up top and we had to play Broja up top. That's when they were like, you know what? We're actually missing Jackson, you know? When he went to AFCON, right? We went to Middlesbrough away.
How are we talking about AFCON on Football Terrace top 6 show? What's going on? Chelsea just lost 3-0. And we're talking about AFCON.
This Chelsea team right now, right? There's many problems. And one of the major problems in this team is we are shit without a striker, right? Even you, man, the other day when you played Leicester, you were shit majority of the game. Merino came on, cool, fair enough. But that's fucking Leicester, mate, right? Most of that game, you lot were absolutely horrendous in how you played.
Great, back to Brighton.
And I've been telling Terry, bro, yeah, I've got no hope for the second half of the season because I know how badly we play without a target man. We've got no Gil right now. Like what David just said, when he plays up there, at least Neto's got a target man. At least there's actually someone that stays in his position. Everyone else, bro, they don't like playing with their back to goal. Palmer's a shit striker.
Excuses because of injuries. Is that what you're doing?
What do you mean excuses? It's the reality.
Exactly what you just gave a list.
Oh, he's 6 years old, bro. Like I'm telling you what the problem is right now. And you're telling me it's excuses, bro. The reality is
you said the reason why you're writing off the season.
It's a fact.
You just said that the reason why you're writing off the season is because you don't have a striker. Is that not an excuse?
I said one of the main reasons right now. Yeah,
am I going mad? I don't know.
I know how we play without a striker, though, Kunle. I know how we play.
So that's your excuse for not performing this season. All those beliefs you had at the start of the season have now gone because you don't have a striker. I just want to make sure we're clear.
Hold on, Kunle. Even when Jackson was here, right? We know that Jackson's not a great finisher, right? And we need better than Jackson. Everyone knows this. But with Jackson, we was actually creating some chances. Since Jackson's gone, bro, we're not even creating nothing. I don't know what you've been watching, David. Against Brighton, we had 0 shots on target, bro. Yeah. The game before that against Brighton again. Hold on. The game before that against Brighton again, we fucking struggled to create the same way. Maresca right now needs to start overlapping the fullbacks because he's congesting the midfield too much, right? And it's pissing me off. You know what I mean? How are you watching the other day? You're seeing Brighton, a manager who's young enough to be your fucking son, congesting the midfield, and you're just choosing to have no wingers doing anything, no width on the wide areas, right? You've got Nkuku playing up top, but you think we're going to play through the midfield to get the ball to him. No, bro. You need to cut it back to him, right? The way Savinho was playing the other day, against Newcastle, the cutbacks for what's his name? Mamouche. That's how we need to play with Nkuku. If you're trying to do this crossing, play through the midfield with Nkuku, it's not gonna work. So Maresca needs to change things. Right now, we're pissed without a striker. It's peak, bro. Yeah, I told you, Terry, bro. I'm real with it. Yeah, I'm not gonna come in and try to flip things. I know this team inside out. Without a striker, we are finished, blood. We are finished.
You literally just flipped things and said, "I'm not going to come over here on here and flip things." What's going on? Isn't your manager good enough to adapt? You just gave him a great solution. Isn't your manager good enough to adapt? Don't you believe in him?
Listen, I don't know. He needs to, bro.
But you believed him at the start of the season. Why have you changed now? Because you don't have a striker.
Because I've seen how he is without his key players.
Oh, now you've seen how he is. Okay.
Once he loses key players, the guy's scared, right? No one's gonna tell me that our performance will still be like this if we had Lavia, Fofana, and these guys fit.
Lavia, oh my God, can we stop with the Lavia
Real
stuff? He's played 13 games in his Chelsea career,
and he's
There's
been good.
No way he's
and
a
he's been
key
good
player.
for us. And he's been good for us. Hey, Tom, have some fucking respect. Because your manager literally came out and said Chelsea are the only team who played better than us, right? Even though we lost that game, that he was very impressed.
He's like 15 points clear of you. He has no reason to have respect for you, bro.
Bro, he can enjoy that little title, bro. He can enjoy that little title, man. I've seen things that he's never seen. You know what I mean? I've seen multiple things that he's never seen.
Hang on. You're telling a Liverpool fan that you've seen things he hasn't.
Well, I'm talking about in his lifetime. In his lifetime, bro.
So what have you
not
seen
what your
that I
granddad
haven't?
and that saw.
What,
You know what I mean?
What have you seen that I haven't?
Bro, I've seen multiple prems that you haven't. You've only seen one. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I've seen
so
how many Champions League?
I've seen a
Was you even
fucking
born in
league.
2005? Was you even born in 2005, bro? Was you born?
Yeah, I was born in 2005.
Yeah, bro, you must have been a baby. You don't remember that. I remember. You know what I'm saying? You've only seen one Champions League, really. If you think about it.
How old are you? You're 28. Okay. So yeah, you might just a little bit remember Jose's time. You would have been really young though. You'd have been like 8 years old.
Yeah. I remember.
7 years old then. Yeah. You and Tom St. I get that. Listen, I hear that. I'm not going to do super chats here. First of all, Don, do you have a nice time in Paris? First question.
Bro, listen. It was lovely, but these lot ruined my fucking Friday, bro.
I take it you went on your own.
Tell you what, Don. I was talking to KJ on Saturday. I was driving my kids to like what they do on Saturdays, ballet, football and stuff. And me and KJ was having a chat about the day, what streams are doing, who's coming on shows. And I said, I just had this image in my head, right, of this beautiful young lady laying in a bed in a little negligee, like, Don, come to bed. And he's at the edge of the bed just texting and messaging, like not going to bed. I had this image in my head and that would just be hilarious.
Why didn't Palmer play in the midfield?
No,
yeah,
I wanted to be planning for a fan cam, Terry, but I had to. On Friday, I had to, bro. I was so angry, honestly.
Listen, I always do it, no matter where I am, mate. Nothing wrong with that. English fans first debated about Scholes, Lampard and Gerrard. Now they want to debate Foden, Saka, Palmer. Can you guys please pick? Or can we all agree with Roy Keane and say Maddison is better? He was so rattled, Maddison, weren't he? So rattled. Henry prefers Palmer to Saka. No wonder Spurs are shits. I will admit that Palmer can be head to Waneri. The correlation doesn't even exist. Waneri, but listen, no one actually disagreed or said that Henry's opinion was wrong. It's just that Henry said he prefers him but doesn't think he's better, and none of us could understand the logic. It wasn't even, I think Palmer's
I just like how that super chat was like, you prefer the Chelsea player to the Arsenal player. That's why Spurs are shit.
Yeah, I don't know why we're still catching disgrace.
This here says we'll come back to the Arsenal stuff in a minute. David, why wasn't this applied to Poch? He had the same issues.
I didn't want Poch sacked.
Yeah,
I'm glad you sacked him. You didn't deserve him.
Oh, they still love him at Spurs. Let it go. He left you.
I can't. I love him.
Neto got a trophy for equalising against Arsenal, is what AMT says. Runin says sacking Enzo based on all factors is dumb as fuck. Don't forget that they had Thiago Silva in the 23-24 season. That's true. Brilliant player. Brilliant. Y'all are literally comparing Ethan to Yamal. Oh, we'll come back to Ethan Waneri in a moment.
Noneri, he's a baller. He's a baller.
He's fucking great.
He's more talented than Saka.
Saka is playing with effing Arsenal. Yes. He is. I don't quite get that one. Palmer isn't even on Waneri's level. Calm down, David. Is what's been said here. Kunle is an elite gaslighter, according to Ronin as well.
Kunle is a troll. That's what Kunle is. He's a troll.
I'm the Chelsea Grinch, as Don likes to call me. Bro.
He is. He really is.
Granddad Don lecturing little Tom about the old days. Oh no, it's great. Great. Oh, you done that one. Is Palmer mathematically better per match than Saka? Probably.
What is this? What
I
are
didn't
we
know,
doing
I didn't know
now?
football was about maths, but big up there.
Is he mathematically better? I just
Bro,
watched
he
him
ain't
and go,
even-
oh, I like him.
He ain't even been great, and he's sitting on over 20 GA right now. It's crazy.
If all fans acted like Don, then Henry should write off his club with Levy running it. So should Terry also write off United with the Glazers running them.
What does that mean?
It means that all you want to do is spend more money. You've spent £1 billion
Oh, yeah,
quid,
we
and
still
yet
got gas.
Chelsea fans
Embarrassing.
demanding
You're bigging
more
up
players.
way.
No, you know what it is, yeah, Kate. For me, the problem that we've got right now, yeah, is Clear Lake are basically some gamblers, bro. Like they've got an issue here, right? Because Fofana and Lavia, for example, when they start games, we play a lot better. But you can't depend on these guys because they're injury prone. So now we're having to depend on squad players that you only want to play here and there for longer than what they need to. Look at our backline, Chalobah, Tosin. These sort of guys, you want them to come in here and there, Kate, you know, to see out games, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. Most of the time, you want the same 11. Look at Tom this season. He's basically seen the same 11 pretty much all season, barring a few injuries here and there. I haven't had that privilege in God knows how long now because our best players are all injury prone. You know what I mean? So in the summer, the main thing that I want a striker. I want a new centre-back that's going to start, but we need to make sure that the likes of Lavia, the likes of Fofana, these guys are afterthoughts. Because yes, when they're here, they're brilliant. But when they're not here, it doesn't help us kick on. When we're never going to kick on. I kept singing this to Terry last season. We won't compete if we can't keep our main players fit. And you're seeing it. Fofana got injured in December. Cole fell off a cliff, right? If you put Chalobah next to Saliba and Gabriel, they won't look as good. They just won't look as good. I'm sorry.
Don, do you still, you know, me and you had a debate earlier at the start of the season. Do you still think that Chelsea squad's better than Liverpool's?
Bro, your squad just lost to Preston the other day, bro. Respect yourself, please.
It's a yes or no question, Don, bro.
Respect yourself, bro. I still think we do. I still think we do, bro. You know what I mean? I rated your 11. I rated your 11, Tom. I said you've got a better 11 than us, right? But I'm sorry, bro. Maresca's got to take blame as well. You've seen Vega right now has gone to Juve. He's helping them win games, yeah? You've seen Felix has gone to AC Milan. He's had a decent start. We've got Nkuku on the bench being played out of position. He hasn't actually used the squad to the best of his ability. I've got the exact same energy as what I had for Poch. So these players, some of these players should have been playing a lot more. But what we've done in the January, we've weakened the squad. You know what I'm saying? And you've barely had to use your squad because most of your 11 have stayed fit. If you had to use your squad more, I'm telling you now, if you had Endo in your midfield most of the games, apart from away from Gravenberch, you're not playing as well as what you've been doing this season, bro. I'm sorry, right?
This is so bad. Are you down this bad? Are you down this bad?
Given by a player who can only give you 13 games in 2 years.
I'm just saying that Liverpool have been very lucky with the lack of injuries in their team this year in comparison to us.
Look.
It is luck, bro. We literally, bro. Jackson
even if you didn't have injuries like Liverpool, you wouldn't be up there anyway, bro.
Bro, we literally went toe to toe with these man. I don't think we would have won the league, but I think we could have held it up. You guys fit.
Wow. Sorry,
when we played you lot, did we not give you a good game, bro?
Oh my God, Plymouth beat us, so Plymouth better than you.
Celebrating after
I never said we're better than you. I never said we're better than you, Tom. I just think, like I've said, if you didn't have your key players most of the season, Arsenal will be even a lot closer to you, man. That's what I think.
But you're acting like you've missed your key players for all the season. Palmer's been fit for all of it. I'm not having the Romeo Lavia.
Who are Chelsea's key players, actually?
Bro, Lavia is part of our spine, bro. Lavia comfortably starts.
Wait, hold on. I was literally an honest question. Who are Chelsea's key players? Honest question.
Oh, I've just told you. Lavia is a key player.
Lavia is one of Chelsea's key players. He's not played 30 games in the season. How can he be a key player for Chelsea?
Quality though, Kunle. When he's here, we play better.
No. Key players are players that are available, not players that could do some great things if they were available.
Bro, key players, you got to talk about the quality as well. Lavia is a quality player, bro.
Key players are players that are available and play. Not players that in theory they'll be good. In theory, if they had a run of games.
Hold on, Kunle. Does Reece not help us play better than Reece James?
Reece James ain't a key player for Chelsea.
Reece James ain't a key player for Chelsea.
Nah, bro, he doesn't play for you lot, bro. He plays like 12 games a season now. At once upon a time he was, yeah.
Because you know how good he is, right? Because you know how good he is, right?
You know how good he is. Player for you now, bro. No, I'm talking about the availability. Availability is a big quality, bro. And he's not available. So how can he be considered a key player if he's not been available the last 2 years?
I am talking solely about his quality, bro. When these guys are there, we play.
That's what I'm saying. We're not talking about that. We're talking about everything, and availability is one of the contexts of this. And that's not available, so you can't be considering man like Lavia. Okay, let's. You went to Reece James. I know what happened. You went to Reece James. You went to Reece James. You went to Reece James because you knew you didn't have no context with Lavia. Lavia ain't even played a good amount of games for you lot. So let's talk about Lavia. How can he be a key player when he's not even played 15 games in the season for you lot?
I've just explained to you how, bro. I've just explained to you how when he's been playing for us.
Because he's quality. What kind of stupid answer is that, bro?
Hold on. One of our best performances this season was against Aston Villa. Aston Villa came to the bridge. We battered these guys comfortably 3-0. We had Caicedo inverting from right back and Lavia started in the midfield with Enzo and Palmer. We had Fofana starting that game. One of our best performances this season, right? Maresca, his style of play, he wants guys to counter press. When we've got Lavia starting, he can help break up play and Caicedo can push up a lot higher than him, right? When Lavia's not there...
You're right. Diaby was a key player for Arsenal too. You're right.
Bro, when Lavia's not there, it means Caicedo's having to play in the first phase, so he's not actually counter pressing from the front. When Lavia's there, he does that job and Caicedo goes further up like a box-to-box. It helps us play better. So, I've said...
How many times has him be able to do that in a Chelsea shirt? How many times?
Bro, I've seen him play for Southampton.
I asked you a specific question. How many times in a Chelsea shirt has he been able to do that? I asked you a specific question.
Bro, not many because he can't stay fit.
So he's not a key player then. Thank you.
He can't be a key player if he's given you 13 games in 2 seasons.
Bro, every time Lavia's played, we've played better, bro. That's my point here. And he needs to be an afterthought because he can't stay fit. Yeah, we can't kick on with guys that are injured, bro. That's the facts.
Did you go to Paris or did you go to Amsterdam and get on the funny stuff? Tell the truth.
Bro, listen, I've been on the balloons. I've been on the balloons like Basuma. That's why he's been playing like shit. You know what I mean?
That must be why you're talking shit then.
So what, Lavia's a bad player now? So what, Lavia's a bad player now?
I didn't say Lavia's a bad player. Don't get on your high horse with me. I'm just enjoying the show.
I'll be honest with you, bro. Based on his availability, he's shocking.
Oh yeah. Availability, exactly, bro. He's shocking.
Availability is the best ability. So the most important ability of a footballer to be available, he is one of the worst in the Premier League. So it doesn't. It doesn't matter. So when you talk about that squad's being good enough, you have to factor these things in. You have to factor in the fact that your best midfielder or one of your key components in your midfield can't stay fit. The thing is, yes, when if you look at like. If Liverpool had all the injuries that you guys have got or Spurs have got, they wouldn't be as good as they are now. But the fact that they don't suffer with that volume of injuries is because the availability is better, and availability is an ability. So,
can I say something, Otero? I get that, but the thing is, with Lavia, right? It's a weird one because before he came to Chelsea, right? This guy played the most minutes for any under 20, bro. Right? Last year he was mismanaged. I remember I was even at that game against Palace. Poch got told this guy is not ready to play. He got told he's not ready to play.
Stop to this, please.
Don't interrupt. You finish what I'm saying, because I've actually got to go in a sec. I've got to finish unpacking, and eat. Right. Last season, Lavia Poch got told Lavia is not available to play. He's not fit. He brings him on against Palace. He gets written off for the rest of the season. I was hoping this year, in terms of his availability, will be a lot better because he's still young. But unfortunately, it hasn't been better, bro. Right. And you know how long, Terry, I've been banging on about Andre Santos. From the moment I saw this guy, I said, yo, this guy's a baller. He's due to come back. He's going to be Lavia's replacement for now, right? Until Lavia can work out on his fitness. You know what I'm saying? So Andre Santos, remember the name because he'll be back next season.
Fair dues, bro. We're going to jump into some of these super chats here. Tom had finished school the last time James was fit. Don says his players playing in Europe are doing well. So are Man United's players. Yeah, we've not got a bad European record this year, Man United. Unbeaten. The only English team left unbeaten, I think, in Europe. You could never imagine that with the shitty year we've had. Don thinks the current Chelsea squad is better than Liverpool. Well, my friend is a dealer a big one, bigger one than Walter White, in case you had any.
You see how people tried to revise things? Because start of the season, when we was firing and scoring all those goals, people kept referencing our bench. Oh, look who they can bring on in Cuckoo. They can bring on this guy. They can bring on that guy. Now, all of a sudden, our squad shit. Allow me, bro. Allow me.
But what you can do, though, you did that with Rasmus Højlund. You watched him at the start of his career at Man United and said you would swap him for Jackson. And then later on, when you watch more of Rasmus and more of Jackson, you change your mind. So why can't people look at your bench and go, wow, that bench looks amazing? You see that bench and those players get game time and opportunities. And then you go, actually, they're pretty shit. You did it last year.
Yeah, but I don't think some of these guys have been given fair opportunities. I don't think Felix has been given fair opportunities. I don't think Vega's been given fair opportunities. Even in Cuckoo. Bro, playing in Cuckoo up top is a waste of time. That's not a fair opportunity to me. You're just throwing him on to say, yeah, go play. But what's he going to do up top? He's not a striker.
Fair enough. That's a good response. This here says maths is functional, not opinion. Asna is established. You can't have a better squad if you get battered when Maresca uses them. Stop Don, your first 11 and whole squad isn't better than Liverpool's or Arsenal's, is what Robert Peoples says here.
I remember going into the season, you told me that Chelsea's entire midfield three was better than Liverpool's. You wouldn't take a single Liverpool midfielder.
And Arsenal's.
I still wouldn't take
better than Gabriel as well.
Has Caicedo been shit this season? Enzo, you don't even hear people cooking Enzo like that this season because he's been good, right?
Enzo, oh my God.
But knowing what you know now, though, that Liverpool midfield three, you would take a good couple of their midfield and put it in Chelsea's, wouldn't you?
Bro, no. Like, I don't...
You wouldn't take McAllister?
What do I need him for? Over who?
Gravenberch.
Over Caicedo.
Over fucking Lavia. You're putting your hat on this fella who's played 500 minutes in his Chelsea career and he's been there since last year.
I've got Andre Santos coming, man. Midfield ain't my problem right now. Midfield is not my problem right now, bro.
It should be. Don, you're looking for sympathy from Kate as a Spurs fan with the injury talk. Yeah. What Savio did to Newcastle should be on Pornhub. Yeah, Savio was brilliant. Mamouche even better. By the way, we're not going to get round to the Man City talk today, but we'll do it with LB tomorrow on Straight Facts at 3:30 UK time.
You wait for Esteval. You think Savinho's good? You wait for Esteval,
bro. Don Ludid rated Tosin, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, Gue, and Neto. Guy is lost, is what Olu says here.
Bro, a lot of guys rate Dewsbury Hall, bro. I think he still starts for a lot of clubs. You know what I mean? I think again, he's another one that hasn't been played. Right?
He's specifically talking about you, Don.
Yeah, I still rate those guys. Like, is it me that's not using them? I would use them if it's up to me.
But he's been used recently, no?
Pardon?
In his last 11
games. He's been played recently, no?
Bro, he's been getting some Mickey Mouse minutes, man. Like, what are we doing?
Santos is a box-to-box, nothing like Lavia, who is a DM, is what James Sosa says here.
Santos can comfortably play in both positions. He's played as a DM majority of his season for Strasbourg this year.
Why are we always waiting for a player next season with you lot? Like, every time, wait till this guy comes next year. Wait till this guy comes. Bro, we're still in this season, bro.
Got a lot of players is an understatement, man. It's crazy, bro. Palmer got smoked by Curtis Jones, who scored 2. He did in that game. I thought Chelsea's squad was better than Arsenal's. I still assume you still think it's better than Arsenal's, right?
Of course it is, bro. Like, Arsenal's squad is shit, bro.
Can I ask you an objective question then? If Arsenal maintain the current points gap over you with the fact they've got no fit attackers, barring like first team attackers, barring and experienced attackers, if they maintain the points difference or grow it whilst having a big injury crisis, would you change your mind?
Bro, I've always said from the start.
That means no. That means
no. Arsenal's 11.
You have to continue. How many times have I told you, bro? I swear you don't have to continue, bro. That means no. It's fine. It's fine. We don't need the guts and the context and all that. We don't need that. No. Okay, cool.
I said this at the start of the season. Arsenal's 11 is better than Chelsea's right now because they've played together longer, right? I looked at Arsenal's thing earlier. Actually, you haven't got a single player that scored double digits goals at the minute, Kunle. Yeah. You're in a similar situation to us with your attack. The difference with us and you, man, is your defense. That's the major difference here. Yeah. Swap our centre back. It's a different story. It's a different story, bro.
Now, listen, I understand. So is that a no then?
Swap the centre backs, but you've sat there all streaming moan about the fact that you've got to play in Kunku up top and you haven't got a striker. So the centre backs wouldn't change anything because you still wouldn't score a goal.
Tom, at some point last season they were saying wait till Nkunku comes back, and now he's not a good forward anymore.
I wasn't one of them. I wasn't one of them.
You were definitely one of them.
Like, this here says Palmer is a one-season hit wonder like Vanilla Rice. No, I listen, AMT, I love you, bro, but I think that's wrong. I think he's brilliant.
Man. He's a baller, man.
David, we played Brighton back-to-back. We played worse in the second game. He didn't adjust or learn anything from the first game. One shot on goal in 180 minutes. Yeah, Decay, it was an awful couple of days for you boys. Don, who do you get more smoke from, Arsenal or Liverpool? Who have you got more smoke for, Arsenal or Liverpool?
Oh, of course, Arsenal, man. I don't really care about Liverpool like that. They can enjoy their
London. Come on, he lives in London. Come on,
yeah, they can enjoy their prem for now, you know. But we already know what's going to happen next year, right? You know what I'm saying?
You're not telling me I've got to be worried about Chelsea next year.
I'm talking about your contract situation.
Santos is coming next year, Tom. Don't remember.
I'm talking about your contract situation.
Washington's coming back. Washington's back, bruv, with a vengeance.
He's actually
like it's Independence Day. Washington is going to be on fire, bruv.
They're going to be telling me about Kepa coming back on loan from Bournemouth. Oh, he's our solution to the
Kepa's been the regen. Terry, do us Chelsea fans a favor, please. On the 25th of February, we will have a protest against, I think it's Blue Co, one of many. Please give me publicity. Yeah. Listen, anything you guys want us to show, banners, links, let us know and we'll post that. We're always up for fans doing that type. Speaking of that, I'm doing a show tomorrow on the United Stand at 8 p.m. talking about Ineos and the situations there. So if you guys are interested, make sure you're tuning in. It's only a little channel, the United Stand, but we'll be live. We'll be live. Anyone see Giroud in Merino for those goals? I was going to ask you, Kunle, we haven't got a lot of time left. But I mean,
I've got to shoot boys. I've got to shoot boys and goals. You don't love, yeah?
Right, John.
Yeah, love.
Up.
Obviously, he turned up. It was late in the game, but he turned up with your midfielder turned up with 2 strikers' goals.
Look, there was nothing positive about that game if we didn't win that game. Let me keep it 100 with you. There was no positives. I was out in the studio dying. I didn't know what was going to happen, but for some reason I believed. Little did I think it would be the guy that's usually looking like a referee in matches, like just following the ball around and that. He actually scored a brace. Look, I was excited. He took the finishes very, very well. Like I'm saying, actually, I'm not going to say the next part because I know some of the fan base are thinking it. But certain people might not have taken that chance. No names. But anyway, I'm not part of the fan base that thinks that he should start the next game as a number 9 straight away. I still think like it was good. He could come on and change the game last 20 minutes. Let's see if that is needed again first. But we looked dire, but there was one man,
I also want to see more Raheem Sterling. We all want to see more Raheem Sterling in our lives because he was fantastic.
Look, we all know as soon as Raheem came back to London, he checked in with the man them, and it's just relaxation settings now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm back home in London. I've got big money now. I've won Premier Leagues. Like he did a really good promo video when he came to us. Like you're gonna see the best of me. Hey, Raheem, you're rude for that.
Do you know what's really funny? You see, listen, I know that he's done a lot of mad things and out of the octagon. But whenever I hear Conor McGregor talk now, even in his voice, you kind of hear that sort of desperation. He knows he's in his mid to late 30s now. He knows he can't do what he did in his 20s, but he talks like he can. That's what I kind of hear in Raheem Sterling now. So, this is the best version of me. And that's Apollo Creed said that before he died in Rocky IV. The best. I'm stronger. Wow, I'm faster. I'm better. I'm quicker than ever. Everyone who's past it, they go on a new diet, maybe go vegan for a month. They feel great. But your body can't move like it used to. Man, I'm back to my best. You're never back to your best. Once your best is past, it's gone. It's like cracking an egg. You can't get the toothpaste back in the tube once it's out. It's impossible. And I feel sorry for him. But obviously the goals were great. But young Ethan Waneri, he was the shining light on Saturday.
He's special, that boy, man. Look, NFF, Nigeria, please do everything you can.
Bruv, sorry, sir. He's English.
Nigeria, do everything you can to speak to that family. I beg. Go and speak to that boy and get him in the Super
He's an English boy, mate. You ain't having him. He's one of us. He's one of us, brother. He's an Englishman.
Nah, but he is special. I can't lie. He's special. Like the thing I love about him the most is he's just fearless. Like he's not scared to take a shot. And a lot of our team are scared to shoot all the time. Want to walk it into the net. He's not scared to shoot. Left foot. He showed that he could do it right foot as well. He's super explosive. He's got a little trick in him. Like he's just super confident right now. I hope he keeps going on. I'm scared because of the amount of how much we need him to shine right now. That's what kind of scares me a bit. But there's no doubt this guy is a special player, man. Long may it continue.
Yeah,
Big up Cundy and them, man.
He was very, very good. And yeah, sorry if I spoiled Rocky 4 for anyone, but if you haven't watched Rocky 4 yet, you're a mug. If you're old enough to understand what I'm talking about and you ain't watched it, you're a mug. Simple as that. Anyone think that Giroud Merino looked like Giroud with the way he scored those goals? What do you guys as rivals think? Do you think this is something they can now rely on for a few games, or could this be Dion Dublin, who used to be a centre back and then suddenly became a striker, or is this going to be it was one game, it was Leicester, calm down? What are you saying?
Tom's on mute.
So definitely the second one, because they've got Nottingham Forest in a couple of games' time, and they will not let Merino win a header. And I wasn't exactly seeing Merino picking up any loose balls or seeing where the danger was going to drop in the box. It was more Fellaini than Giroud from Merino, and it worked.
Yeah, 100%.
It worked, but it's not going to work against teams that are solid defensively, like a Nottingham Forest, compared to a Leicester team whose centre-back's only real achievement in the Premier League so far has been being Liverpool's top scorer for 3 months in 2023 because he scored 2 own goals for them. Like that's genuine. Like Fayez and Okoli's a centre-back partnership. You're gonna eat. The only guy who couldn't eat was fucking Sterling. That's it. Like everyone was gonna have something there. So look, you've got West Ham. I think he could do something against West Ham. I think, whilst West Ham centre-backs are better, that they are prone to a bozo moment or two. So Merino might be able to use a bit of his physicality there and create something. But when he comes up against Nottingham Forest,
is it
next?
Two games time, I think.
Yeah, 2 games time. I don't know if it's midweek or not. No, they won't have Martinelli or Saka because they're planning to get Saka and Martinelli back after the international break, aren't they? This is before it.
Yeah, forget about that for now. We're talking about Leicester and that.
Yeah, I think they'll get past West Ham. I think I think Arsenal just each week a different player is going to be asked to step up. Like that, it doesn't matter how you get the result now. Even if you scrape through 1-0, you just have to keep up with Liverpool, and that's Arsenal fans will probably take some confidence looking at the way Wolves played against them in that second half, because Liverpool looked far off the pace. But that Nottingham Forest game.
Yeah, it's crazy because Liverpool's next 3 games are away at Villa, away at City, then they're home to Newcastle, and this is the hardest run of fixtures in terms of on the bounce Liverpool have for the rest of the season is in back-to-back games. So it's as simple as this for Arsenal. You've got to win all of your matches in that period, and then hope that Liverpool drop some points and have a bit of a crumble. So it's just win at all costs for Arsenal in the next 2 games.
It's literally this: we need to be within at least 4 points come that game, 3 games to the end of the season of them. If that's the only way we have a kind of chance. And then we have to win at Anfield, Like that's and I know
rivals don't hear this, but I'm talking purely as a content creator who relies upon there being excitement and drama and people excited about their team's games. I hope there's a title race. I hope that Arsenal don't drop points in the next 3 games and Liverpool win them all, because it basically means by February everything in the league that anyone cares about is decided. There's not even really a top 4 race. That I'm talking the context of our channel. So for me, I'm like, please, Arsenal, do something, keep it alive, as it's going to be a very boring end to the season. But we're going to have more Arsenal talk and more Man City talk tomorrow on Straight Facts. We've run out of time today. We spent an hour on Man United, to be fair, and that's why that happened. But this video is going to redirect you.
The one-time Spurs win. The one-time Spurs win, and we never even really.
You let it happen, Kate. You let it happen. That's on you. That's on the Spurs fans. Don't take that, Terry. That's on them. That's on them lot.
I'll be honest with you.
There's
that's-
no way I could beat Man United and Terry will get to hog the show with Man United talk. I would make sure. I won't lie. I even text Henry. I tell like, don't have it, man. Come on, man.
I hear you. Listen, everybody that's tuned in, I want to say a big thank you to each and every single one of you. Go check out Hassam's channel now. Go and support him over on A-Listers. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.